As the years pass, there's a unique wisdom that comes with age, a deep understanding of life's ups and downs. But no matter how much experience we've gained, it's easy to overlook certain truths that can shape the quality of our later years. Life doesn't give us a handbook on how to navigate the challenges that come with aging. Sometimes we fall into traps that slowly erode our happiness, peace of mind, and sense of fulfillment. For many, the later stages of life are seen as a time to slow down, to reflect. But if reflection brings only regret and frustration, it can make these years feel heavy. It's common to hear about people who, despite having lived full lives, look back and wish they had done things differently. This can be heartbreaking, not because of the years already lived, but because of the sense that things could have been so much better. We don't want to reach a point where we feel that opportunities have slipped through our fingers or that our best years are behind us. Instead, we want to embrace the present with a sense of purpose, clarity, and peace. What if we could break free from the traps that hold us back? What if we could learn from the wisdom of those who came before us and avoid the mistakes that lead to unnecessary suffering in later years? It's not just about avoiding bad decisions, it's about cultivating the habits, mindsets, and attitudes that will ensure we continue to live meaningful, fulfilling lives. One of the biggest challenges that can creep into our lives as we age is the tendency to hold on to things, whether it's the past, grudges, or even material possessions. As life goes on, it's easy to accumulate emotional baggage. We hold on to painful memories or missed opportunities, replaying them in our minds. We cling to grudges, letting them fester, thinking that somehow they protect us from further hurt. But these things don't protect, they imprison. The longer we carry this weight, the harder it becomes to find peace in the present. And the truth is, the present is all we ever really have. Resentment is a heavy burden. It drains our energy and clouds our ability to see the beauty in life. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is one of the most liberating actions we can take. When we forgive, not just others, but also ourselves, we free ourselves from the chains of the past. We make space for peace, joy, and love to enter our lives. This is not about forgetting the past or pretending that wrongs were never done. It's about letting go of the anger, the bitterness, and the desire for revenge. It's about understanding that holding on to these emotions only harms ourselves. Financial stability is another area that can cause deep regret if not managed wisely. Many people spend their youth and middle years chasing material success, but fail to prepare for the long haul. Later in life, they may find themselves burdened with financial worries, unable to enjoy the freedom and relaxation they had hoped for. The fear of outliving one's savings or becoming a burden on loved ones can overshadow the joys of retirement. This isn't just about money, it's about security, independence, and peace of mind. It's about being able to live without the constant worry of whether ends will meet. This is why financial wisdom is so essential. Planning for the future, living within one's means, and making thoughtful decisions can ensure that the later years are spent enjoying life rather than worrying about it. Emotional dependence is another silent trap that many fall into as they grow older. Relying too heavily on others for happiness can lead to disappointment and resentment. It's natural to want connection, to want to feel loved and supported by those around us. But when we place the responsibility for our emotional well-being in the hands of others, we set ourselves up for heartache. Stoicism teaches the importance of cultivating inner strength and emotional independence. It reminds us that our happiness should not be dictated by the actions or approval of others. This doesn't mean withdrawing from relationships or becoming emotionally distant. It means learning to find peace and contentment within ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. Another common mistake that creeps into later years is the fear of change. change can be frightening, especially when we're comfortable with the routines and habits we've built over a lifetime. But resisting change can lead to stagnation, and stagnation is the enemy of growth and fulfillment. Life is constantly evolving, whether we like it or not. The world changes, technology changes, even our bodies and minds change. Fighting against these changes only leads to frustration and disappointment. But when we learn to embrace change, to flow with it rather than resist it, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, new experiences, and a deeper understanding of life. One of the most important lessons we can learn is to live in the present. The past is gone. It cannot be changed, no matter how much we dwell on it. The future is uncertain. It's beyond our control. All we have is this moment, right now. Yet so many of us spend our later years trapped in the past, replaying memories of what could have been, or worrying about what's to come. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the here and now, to appreciate the small moments of joy and peace that exist in every day, to find contentment in what we have, rather than yearning for what we've lost or fearing what lies ahead. Isolation is another deadly mistake that can sneak up on us in our later years. As friends and loved ones pass away, and as we become less mobile, it's easy to withdraw from the world. But isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness, depression, and a loss of purpose. Human beings are social creatures. We need connection, community, and the support of others to thrive. Stoicism teaches the importance of building and maintaining meaningful relationships, even in our later years. It encourages us to seek out community, to nurture our connections with friends and family, and to be a part of something greater than ourselves. Finally, material possessions can be a deceptive source of comfort. Throughout life, many people accumulate wealth, objects, and status symbols, thinking that these things will bring them happiness. But material possessions are fleeting. They can be lost, broken, or taken away. Clinging to them only leads to disappointment. True happiness comes not from what we own, but from how we live. Stoicism teaches us to let go of our attachment to material things and to focus on the things that truly matter, our relationships, our character, and the impact we leave on the world. These later years are not a time to settle for less. They are a time to embrace the wisdom we've gathered, to live with purpose, and to avoid the pitfalls that can rob us of peace and happiness. By understanding these common mistakes and taking steps to avoid them, we can make the most of every moment and create a life filled with meaning, joy, and fulfillment. This is a time for growth, not decline. A time to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. With the right mindset and the wisdom of Stoicism to guide us, we can turn our later years into a time of great peace, purpose, and contentment. As we move through the different stages of life, there are subtle shifts in our thoughts, our priorities, and our approach to the world. Yet, in our later years, these shifts can sometimes lead to choices that subtly rob us of joy, peace, and fulfillment. What if we could identify the mistakes that lie in wait, mistakes that could prevent us from living out these years with true contentment? These aren't just errors in judgment, but are often deeply ingrained habits that slowly chip away at our sense of well-being. Through a Stoic lens, we can uncover the wisdom necessary to sidestep these traps and embrace our later years with purpose, calm, and clarity. One of the most common mistakes made in later years is neglecting the care of the body. Physical health is not just about living longer, but about living well. When the body is weak or in constant pain, even the simplest joys can become burdensome. Stoicism teaches us that discipline over the self, including the care of the body, is essential to living a good life. It's not about vanity or achieving perfection, but about maintaining the ability to experience life fully. Neglecting one's health often leads to a cascade of limitations, trapping the spirit in a body that no longer feels capable. Taking responsibility for physical well-being is an act of self-respect, and it should never be postponed. At the same time, emotional health deserves equal attention. Carrying grudges or clinging to past wrongs is like walking with stones in your pockets, weighing you down with every step. Resentment grows quietly, but over time it can dominate thoughts and sour every interaction. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of forgiveness, not for the sake of others, but for your own peace. Letting go of anger and bitterness is an act of liberation, freeing the mind from the shackles of the past. It opens the door to serenity and allows you to move forward without the burdens of unresolved conflict. Another dangerous trap is failing to cultivate gratitude. In later years, it's easy to focus on what has been lost, whether it's youth, loved ones, or opportunities that have slipped away. But Stoicism reminds us to focus on what remains and to be deeply appreciative of the present moment. Gratitude can be a powerful antidote to sadness and regret, shifting the mind toward an awareness of life's blessings, no matter how small. When we cultivate gratitude, we foster a mindset that enriches every day, allowing us to feel more connected and content with the world around us. There is also the ever-present danger of becoming overly attached to material possessions. Over time, we accumulate not only things, but the belief that they define our worth or bring us happiness. However, Stoicism teaches that true contentment comes not from external possessions, but from inner tranquility. Clinging to material wealth or status creates anxiety and fear of loss, fear of not having enough, fear of what others think. Letting go of this attachment is key to finding peace. It allows you to enjoy what you have without letting it dominate your sense of self. Embracing simplicity is a form of wisdom that many overlook. Our later years offer a chance to strip away what is unnecessary and focus on what truly matters. By simplifying our lives, whether in our possessions, routines, or relationships, we create space for clarity and meaning. This isn't about depriving yourself, but about making room for what truly enriches life. Simplifying frees us from the mental clutter that distracts from what is truly important, allowing us to focus on relationships, personal growth, and inner peace. One of the most subtle yet impactful mistakes is resisting change. Life is fluid, and resisting its natural ebb and flow only brings frustration. As we age, it's tempting to cling to old habits, routines, or ways of thinking. But Stoicism encourages us to accept that change is inevitable and that our ability to adapt determines our happiness. Resisting change only deepens the sense of loss. Instead, when we embrace new experiences, we allow ourselves to continue growing, learning, and finding joy in unexpected places. Flexibility is the key to staying resilient in the face of life's constant shifts. Equally important is the avoidance of isolation. The later years can often feel like a narrowing of social circles with the passing of friends or a loss of connection. But withdrawing into oneself can lead to loneliness, which in turn can lead to depression. Stoicism reminds us that humans are social beings, and our relationships are essential to our well-being. Engaging with others, building community, and maintaining meaningful connections are crucial to maintaining a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Loneliness is a silent thief, but it can be countered by actively seeking out companionship and community. As we move through life, another common error is to dwell too much on the past. It's tempting to replay memories, to linger on what could have been, or to regret past decisions. But living in the past steals from the present. Stoicism teaches that the only time we have control over is now. By learning to focus on the present, we reclaim our power. The present moment is the only place where we can find peace, joy, and purpose. Dwelling on past mistakes only serves to keep us stuck in a cycle of regret, preventing us from fully experiencing life as it unfolds. Financial insecurity is another source of anxiety in later years. Many people fail to plan adequately for their financial future, leading to stress and hardship when they should be enjoying their retirement. Stoicism teaches the value of prudence and foresight. It encourages living within one's means, saving for the future, and making wise financial choices. Money itself is not the problem. It's the lack of preparedness and the resulting stress that can make life difficult. Financial wisdom brings not just security, but the freedom to focus on what truly matters in life. Relying too heavily on others for happiness is a trap that often goes unnoticed. While relationships are essential, expecting others to fulfill all our emotional needs can lead to disappointment and resentment. Stoicism teaches self-reliance, encouraging us to find happiness within ourselves rather than from external sources. This doesn't mean isolating ourselves, but rather learning to cultivate inner contentment that isn't dependent on the actions or approval of others. It's about being strong enough to find peace within, even when the outside world is chaotic. The temptation to force outcomes is another mistake that leads to unnecessary suffering. Many people feel that they must control every aspect of their lives, pushing for things to happen exactly as they envision. But life rarely follows our plans, and the more we try to force it, the more we invite frustration and disappointment. Stoicism teaches the value of surrender, of accepting what we cannot control and focusing instead on what we can. Letting go of the need to control everything frees us from constant worry and allows us to flow with life rather than fight against it. Neglecting intellectual growth is another mistake that often goes unnoticed. Just because formal education may be behind us doesn't mean that learning should stop. The mind is a muscle, and if it's not exercised, it weakens. Continuing to learn, whether through reading, engaging in thoughtful conversations, or pursuing new interests, keeps the mind sharp and engaged. Stoicism values wisdom, and the pursuit of knowledge is a lifelong endeavor. Staying mentally active not only enriches life, but also helps stave off the cognitive decline that often comes with age. Another pitfall is the failure to recognize the importance of legacy. As we age, it's natural to think about the impact we've had on the world, the people we've influenced, and what we will leave behind. Many people fail to give this thought until it's too late, resulting in a sense of purposelessness. Stoicism teaches the importance of living with intention, of thinking about the mark we want to leave on the world. It's not about fame or recognition, but about the meaningful contributions we make to the lives of those around us. Failing to maintain a sense of humor is another common mistake. As life becomes more serious with age, it's easy to lose the lightness that comes from laughter and joy. Stoicism teaches us that while life is full of challenges, we should never lose sight of the ability to find humor and joy in everyday moments. Laughter is a powerful tool for coping with life's difficulties, and those who maintain a playful spirit often find that their later years are filled with more light and happiness. Procrastination is a deadly trap in later years. The belief that there's still time to do the things we want, to fix the mistakes we've made, or to become the person we wish to be, can lead to a life of unfulfilled dreams. Stoicism teaches the importance of acting now, of not postponing the changes we know we need to make. Time is the one resource we can never get back, and the more we delay, the less we have to live the life we desire. Taking action today is the key to a life well lived. One of the most devastating mistakes is to stop caring for others. As we age, it's easy to become focused on our own needs, especially as health and energy decline. But Stoicism teaches the importance of kindness and compassion. Caring for others, whether through acts of service, offering support, or simply being present, brings a sense of purpose and fulfillment that nothing else can. It's in giving that we often find the deepest satisfaction, and the more we focus on helping others, the richer our own lives become. Finally, perhaps the most dangerous mistake is losing sight of gratitude. Gratitude is the cornerstone of a peaceful and fulfilled life. It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, transforming even the most challenging situations into opportunities for growth. Stoicism encourages us to practice gratitude daily, not just for the good things in life, but for the challenges as well. Each difficulty is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. Gratitude keeps us grounded in the present and helps us find joy in every moment. These later years are an opportunity, a chance to apply the wisdom we've gathered over a lifetime and avoid the traps that prevent happiness and peace. Through the lens of Stoicism, we can navigate these years with grace, avoiding the deadly mistakes that steal our joy. Instead, we can focus on cultivating inner peace, building meaningful connections, and living with intention. By doing so, we create a life filled with purpose, contentment, and true fulfillment. As we close the door on the mistakes that can rob us of peace in later years, another issue remains crucial to living a fulfilled life: the care of your health. It's easy to think that health simply fades with time, but more often, it's neglect that speeds up the decline. This isn't just about avoiding illness. It's about respecting the body and mind, the vehicles that carry us through life. The Stoics believed that true wisdom comes from aligning with nature, and part of that is taking care of the body and mind that are entrusted to us. Let's dive deeper into why neglecting your health is not just a mistake, but one that can take away the very essence of living. When the body is weak, everything else becomes more difficult. What was once a simple walk can turn into a struggle, and the pleasures of life, whether it's sharing time with loved ones or pursuing hobbies, become overshadowed by physical limitations. Maintaining physical health is not about chasing the idea of youth, but about preserving the ability to experience life fully. Stoicism teaches the importance of moderation and self-discipline, and this applies directly to how we treat our bodies. Overindulgence, laziness, or neglect can lead to long-term consequences that steal the joy from daily living. Taking care of your physical health doesn't mean pursuing perfection. It's about the little decisions made every day that accumulate over time. What we eat, how often we move, and how we manage stress all play into how we feel as the years pass. Physical health is deeply connected to mental well-being. A neglected body can weigh down the mind, creating feelings of fatigue, frustration, and even depression. The body and mind are not separate entities. They work in tandem, and when one suffers, the other follows. One of the greatest lessons from Stoicism is that we must focus on what is within our control. While we cannot always control aging or illness, we can control how we respond to these challenges and how we care for our bodies. The Stoic practice of taking ownership over our actions applies to health as well. It's about making conscious choices to nurture the body rather than letting neglect take its toll. Even simple acts, such as daily walks, nourishing meals, or moments of mindfulness, can make a significant difference over time. Health is more than the absence of disease. It's the presence of vitality. Vitality doesn't come from pushing the body to extremes, but from a balanced life that honors the needs of the body and mind. Stoicism advocates for balance in all things, recognizing that excess leads to imbalance and suffering. This is why a moderate, thoughtful approach to health is so essential. A body that is treated with care will serve you well in return, allowing you to enjoy the fruits of your later years. But let's not forget the mind. Mental health is often overlooked, especially as physical concerns take center stage in later life. However, the state of the mind is just as important, if not more so, than physical health. Neglecting mental well-being can lead to anxiety, stress, and a sense of hopelessness. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate inner peace and resilience, and this begins with mental health practices. Just as the body needs regular exercise, so too does the mind need nurturing. Mental health isn't something that happens on its own. It requires daily effort, whether through mindfulness, reflection, or practices that encourage emotional well-being. Stoicism offers powerful tools for mental clarity, such as journaling and meditation, which help clear the mind of clutter and allow for a focus on the present. Neglecting mental health leaves space for negative thoughts to fester, for worries to grow, and for emotional struggles to take root. Taking time each day to quiet the mind is an act of self-care that pays dividends in peace and resilience. The Stoics often spoke of resilience, the ability to withstand the hardships of life without being consumed by them. Health, both mental and physical, is deeply tied to resilience. A body that is well maintained can recover more quickly from illness or injury. A mind that is well cared for can weather emotional storms without being torn apart by them. Resilience is not about avoiding suffering, but about having the strength to endure it. Stoicism reminds us that we cannot avoid the trials of life, but we can prepare ourselves to face them with grace and strength. There's another important aspect to consider. Health is not just for your own benefit. When you care for yourself, you are better able to care for others. Neglecting your health can lead to a loss of independence, placing the burden of care on loved ones. Stoicism teaches that our actions should not create unnecessary burdens on others. By taking care of yourself, you are also caring for the people around you, allowing them to enjoy your company rather than having to care for your needs. Health is also about legacy. The way we live today sets an example for those who come after us. When we take care of our bodies and minds, we demonstrate the importance of self-respect and personal responsibility. These lessons don't just benefit us in the moment, they ripple outward, influencing the lives of our children, grandchildren, and beyond. Stoicism teaches that our lives are not just about ourselves, but about the impact we leave on the world. By prioritizing health, we ensure that our impact is one of strength and resilience, not of unnecessary suffering. The body is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. When we neglect it, we dishonor that responsibility. Stoicism encourages us to see the body as a temple, not to be worshipped, but to be cared for with respect and attention. This means listening to its needs, whether that's rest, movement, or nourishment. It means avoiding excess and treating the body with the care it deserves. A healthy body is the foundation for a life lived with purpose and energy. But it's not just about physical actions. The mind plays a crucial role in health, shaping our attitudes toward aging and our ability to cope with life's changes. Stoicism teaches that our thoughts shape our reality, and when we allow negative or fearful thoughts to dominate, our health suffers. A positive Stoic mindset isn't about denying the difficulties of aging, but about approaching them with wisdom and strength. This mindset enables us to see challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than as setbacks. Taking care of your health also means recognizing when it's time to ask for help. Stoicism doesn't advocate for isolating oneself or pretending to be invincible. It's about knowing when to rely on the wisdom and expertise of others. Whether it's seeking medical advice, emotional support, or simply asking for a hand, acknowledging your needs is not a weakness, it's a sign of wisdom and self-awareness. Health is about consistency. It's not about grand gestures or occasional spurts of effort. It's about the small daily habits that accumulate over time. The Stoics understood that discipline in the small things leads to success in the larger things. Whether it's a daily walk, mindful eating, or regular reflection, these habits build the foundation for a healthy, fulfilling life. Neglecting health, on the other hand, leads to slow deterioration. It's often easy to ignore the early signs of wear and tear, but over time, neglect compounds. What starts as small aches or emotional fatigue can grow into chronic pain or mental distress. Stoicism teaches us to face challenges head-on, and this includes the challenge of maintaining health. Ignoring problems only allows them to worsen, while taking action early on can prevent long-term suffering. Health is freedom. A healthy body and mind allow you to pursue your passions, enjoy time with loved ones, and explore the world around you. When health is neglected, these freedoms are slowly taken away. Stoicism teaches us to value what we have and to take care of it, rather than taking it for granted. By caring for your health, you ensure that you can continue to live with vitality and purpose. Mental health, in particular, is a realm where Stoicism shines. The Stoic practice of journaling is an excellent tool for mental well-being. By writing down thoughts and reflecting on emotions, you gain clarity and insight into your inner world. This practice can prevent mental health from deteriorating, providing a daily outlet for stress and emotional clutter. It's a simple yet profound way to maintain emotional balance. Physical health is often viewed as separate from mental health, but the two are deeply connected. Exercise, for example, has been shown to boost mental clarity and reduce symptoms of depression. Stoicism encourages us to move the body as part of our daily routine, not just for physical strength, but for mental resilience. The act of moving the body clears the mind and strengthens the spirit. It's important to remember that health is not static. It's a dynamic process that requires ongoing attention and care. Stoicism teaches us to adapt to the changes life brings, and this applies to health as well. As we age, our needs may change, but the commitment to health remains the same. It's about adjusting our routines, seeking new solutions, and continuing to care for ourselves in every stage of life. Health isn't just about the individual. It affects the community as well. When we neglect our health, it impacts our ability to contribute to the lives of others. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of contributing to the common good, and this is impossible without a healthy body and mind. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's an essential part of being able to serve others and live a life of purpose. In the end, health is about harmony. Harmony between body, mind, and spirit. Stoicism teaches that when these elements are in balance, we are able to live our best lives. Neglecting any one of these elements disrupts that balance, leading to suffering. By nurturing health in all its forms, we create the foundation for a life filled with joy, peace, and fulfillment. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable, but they also believed that we have the power to shape our experience of it. Taking care of your health is one of the most powerful ways to shape your life. It ensures that no matter what challenges come your way, you are strong enough, physically, mentally, and emotionally, to face them with grace and courage. Neglect, on the other hand, is a path to unnecessary suffering. Stoicism reminds us that true wisdom lies in caring for ourselves so that we may live with vitality and purpose, no matter our age. As we continue on this journey of understanding the wisdom that Stoicism offers, one thing becomes clear. Neglecting health is one of the biggest mistakes we can make. It robs us of the ability to live fully, to connect with others, and to leave a meaningful legacy. Taking care of your health is not just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. As we leave behind the importance of taking care of our physical and mental health, we now turn to an even deeper and often overlooked aspect of well-being, the way we carry emotional burdens. While the body can heal with proper care, the heart and mind can become trapped in the weight of resentment. Holding on to grudges is one of the most dangerous choices we can make for our happiness. It poisons the present and clouds the future. Letting go of anger and bitterness is not only an act of liberation, but an essential practice for emotional and mental peace. Stoicism, with its wisdom on forgiveness and moving forward, offers a path to release the chains of grudges and embrace true freedom. Holding on to resentment can become second nature. It often starts small, a feeling of being wronged, a sense of injustice that simmers quietly beneath the surface. Over time, these feelings grow, occupying more and more space in the mind. Before long, they take root, and letting go feels impossible. But what many fail to realize is that holding on to grudges doesn't harm the person who wronged you. It harms you. It eats away at your peace of mind, your ability to experience joy, and your sense of well-being. The Stoics knew this well, which is why they emphasized the importance of letting go. Grudges are like chains that bind you to the past. They prevent you from moving forward, from growing, and from experiencing life fully. When you hold on to resentment, you remain tethered to the event or person that caused you pain. But life continues to move forward, and by holding on to these feelings, you are the one who is left behind. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior or pretending that hurtful actions didn't happen. It's about freeing yourself from the grip that these emotions have over your life. The mind, when filled with grudges, becomes cluttered. It's difficult to focus on the present when your thoughts are constantly returning to past wrongs. This clutter creates a sense of heaviness, making even the simplest tasks feel burdensome. Stoicism teaches the importance of clearing the mind, of finding clarity and peace within oneself. Letting go of grudges is one of the most powerful ways to achieve this mental clarity. It creates space for more positive emotions to take root: gratitude, joy, and contentment. Anger is a natural human emotion, but when it festers into a grudge, it becomes toxic. The Stoics believed that anger is one of the most destructive forces a person can experience. It clouds judgment, leads to impulsive actions, and creates a cycle of negativity. When anger is held onto for too long, it turns into resentment, which hardens the heart. To truly live a life of peace and purpose, we must learn to let go of this anger and replace it with understanding and compassion. Grudges are often built on the belief that justice will be served if we hold on to our resentment. But the reality is, justice rarely plays out in the way we expect. Life is unpredictable, and waiting for someone else to pay for their wrongs only prolongs our own suffering. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others or the outcomes of their actions, but we can control how we respond. By choosing to let go, we take back our power. We decide that our peace is more important than holding on to the hope of revenge or justice. Forgiveness, in Stoic thought, is not about the other person. It's about you. It's about recognizing that carrying resentment harms your own spirit more than it ever harms the person who hurt you. It's about choosing to release the weight of anger and move forward with a lighter heart. This doesn't mean you have to reconcile with the person who wronged you or forget what happened. It simply means that you no longer allow their actions to dictate your emotional state. One of the most profound lessons from Stoicism is the concept of controlling what is within our power and accepting what is not. When someone wrongs us, their actions are beyond our control, but how we choose to react is entirely up to us. Holding a grudge is a choice to remain tied to the past, letting go is also a choice, one that brings freedom and peace. It is in this space of choice that true empowerment lies. Letting go of a grudge doesn't happen overnight. It is a process, one that requires reflection, self-awareness, and a commitment to inner peace. The Stoics practiced daily reflection as a way to clear the mind and strengthen their resolve. By regularly examining our thoughts and emotions, we can become more aware of the grudges we carry and take steps to release them. This daily practice of mindfulness helps prevent resentment from taking root in the first place. Grudges often come from a place of feeling misunderstood or wronged, but one of the key principles of Stoicism is understanding that everyone is acting based on their own perceptions and struggles. The person who hurt you may have been acting out of their own pain or ignorance. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does help to foster a sense of empathy. When we can see the humanity in others, it becomes easier to let go of resentment and offer forgiveness. Empathy is a powerful tool in the process of letting go. When we take a step back and try to understand the motivations behind another's actions, we often find that their behavior had less to do with us and more to do with their own internal struggles. Stoicism encourages this broader perspective, reminding us that everyone is fighting their own battles. This understanding doesn't mean we have to accept mistreatment, but it does help to soften the hard edges of anger and resentment. It's also important to recognize that holding a grudge is a form of self-punishment. While the other person may be oblivious to your feelings, you are the one who suffers. Every time you replay the event in your mind, every time you feel the sting of anger, you are re-inflicting the pain on yourself. Stoicism teaches that suffering is often a choice, and holding on to grudges is one of the ways we choose to suffer. Letting go is a way to end this cycle and bring peace back into your life. Forgiveness doesn't always feel natural. It can be difficult to let go of the need for validation or revenge. But Stoicism reminds us that the greatest power we have is over our own emotions. By mastering our responses, we free ourselves from the influence of others. This is true strength, the ability to rise above the hurt and choose peace over anger. It's not about letting others win. It's about choosing not to let them have power over your emotions. As we age, the weight of grudges can become even more pronounced. The longer we hold on to resentment, the more it shapes our worldview. Over time, this can lead to a sense of bitterness, making it difficult to experience joy or connection with others. Stoicism encourages us to release this weight, to approach each day with a sense of renewal and openness. Letting go of grudges allows us to step into the future with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. It's also worth noting that holding on to grudges can impact physical health. Studies have shown that chronic anger and resentment can lead to increased stress, higher blood pressure, and a weakened immune system. The Stoics understood the connection between mind and body, and they knew that emotional well-being is essential for physical health. By letting go of anger, we not only heal the mind, but also the body. Letting go of a grudge doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending that everything is fine. It's important to acknowledge the hurt, to process the emotions that come with it, and then to make a conscious decision to move forward. Stoicism teaches that we must face our emotions head-on without being consumed by them. This balance allows us to honor our feelings without allowing them to control our lives. One of the most freeing aspects of forgiveness is the ability to reclaim your own narrative. When we hold on to a grudge, we allow someone else's actions to define our story. But by letting go, we take back control of our own journey. We are no longer victims of the past. We become creators of the present. This shift in perspective is at the heart of Stoicism. It's about choosing how we respond to life's challenges rather than being defined by them. The path to letting go is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Each step forward brings a sense of lightness and freedom. The more we practice forgiveness, the more we open ourselves to the possibility of peace. Stoicism teaches that life is too short to be weighed down by anger and resentment. Letting go allows us to make the most of the time we have, to live fully and freely, unburdened by the past. As we release our grudges, we also make space for healing. Forgiveness is not just about letting go of anger, it's about allowing ourselves to heal from the wounds of the past. This healing process is essential for emotional well-being. The Stoics understood that true peace comes not from avoiding pain, but from confronting it and then releasing it. By letting go, we open the door to healing and to a life filled with more joy and connection. Another powerful aspect of letting go is the way it strengthens relationships. Grudges create barriers between people, making it difficult to connect authentically. When we forgive, we remove these barriers and allow for deeper, more meaningful relationships. This doesn't mean that every relationship can be repaired, but it does mean that we can move forward without the burden of unresolved conflict. Stoicism teaches that relationships are one of the greatest sources of fulfillment in life, and forgiveness is key to maintaining them. Letting go of grudges also fosters a sense of gratitude. When we release anger, we make room for appreciation for the lessons learned, for the strength gained, and for the peace that follows. Gratitude is a core principle of Stoicism, and it helps to shift our focus away from what went wrong and toward what is right in our lives. By cultivating gratitude, we create a mindset that is focused on abundance rather than scarcity. In the end, holding on to grudges only serves to limit our potential. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of pain, preventing us from fully experiencing the beauty of life. Letting go is an act of liberation, one that allows us to step into a future filled with possibility. Stoicism teaches that the greatest freedom comes from mastering our own emotions, and forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways to achieve this freedom. By letting go of resentment, we reclaim our power and create a life filled with peace, purpose, and joy. Letting go of grudges opens the door to emotional freedom, but another important aspect of freedom, one that is often overlooked, is financial security. As we shift focus to the financial side of life, it's clear that ignoring financial wisdom can lead to deep regret in later years. Money, or the lack of it, has the power to influence every aspect of our lives, and how we handle it determines whether we experience peace or anxiety. Stoicism, with its emphasis on living wisely and with foresight, offers timeless advice on managing wealth and resources. Living within your means, planning for the future, and understanding the value of contentment are all critical for ensuring that financial mistakes do not steal your happiness. When financial decisions are made without careful thought, they can create lasting consequences that affect every stage of life. In younger years, it's easy to overlook the importance of saving, budgeting, and preparing for the unexpected. There's a sense of abundance and time that leads to complacency, but as the years go by, the weight of poor financial choices begins to compound. Money troubles don't just affect your bank account, they seep into every aspect of life, creating stress, limiting opportunities, and even impacting relationships. The Stoics knew that foresight and careful planning were essential to avoid such traps. One of the core principles of Stoicism is understanding the difference between what is necessary and what is excessive. In today's consumer-driven world, the temptation to spend beyond one's means is greater than ever. Advertisements constantly push the idea that happiness can be bought, leading many to make financial decisions based on fleeting desires rather than long-term needs. However, true contentment comes from recognizing what is enough. When we learn to live with less, We free ourselves from the constant pressure to acquire more. This is where financial wisdom begins, not in chasing wealth, but in learning to live with what we have. Financial wisdom also means recognizing the unpredictability of life. Unexpected events, from health crises to market downturns, can wreak havoc on personal finances. The Stoics understood the importance of preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. They emphasized the need to build resilience in all areas of life, and financial resilience is no exception. This means saving, investing wisely, and avoiding debt whenever possible. By building a strong financial foundation, we create a buffer that protects us from life's uncertainties. Another key aspect of financial wisdom is the ability to differentiate between needs and wants. Many financial troubles arise when people spend on things they don't truly need, often in an attempt to fill emotional voids or keep up with societal expectations. But these purchases rarely bring lasting happiness. Stoicism teaches that material possessions cannot provide the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from inner peace and purpose. By aligning our spending with our true needs and values, we not only save money, but also create a more meaningful life. Debt is one of the most crippling financial burdens a person can carry. It weighs heavily on the mind and creates a sense of constant anxiety. The Stoics valued freedom above all, and debt is a form of financial imprisonment. Avoiding unnecessary debt and working to pay off what is owed as quickly as possible is essential for financial freedom. Living within your means may require sacrifices, but it ultimately brings peace of mind and a sense of control over your own life. Financial wisdom also requires patience. In a world that prioritizes instant gratification, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting everything now, whether it's a new car, a bigger house, or the latest gadget. But Stoicism teaches the value of delayed gratification. By practicing restraint and waiting for the right time to make financial decisions, we avoid the impulse buys and rash investments that can lead to regret. Patience in financial matters often leads to better opportunities and more sustainable wealth. One of the biggest mistakes people make is failing to plan for the future. Retirement may seem far away in your younger years, but it arrives sooner than expected, and without proper financial preparation, it can be a time of stress rather than relaxation. Stoicism encourages us to think ahead, to anticipate challenges, and to prepare accordingly. This doesn't mean living in fear of the future, but rather taking proactive steps to ensure that when the future arrives, you are ready. Building a financial plan that includes saving for retirement, healthcare, and unforeseen expenses is a wise and necessary step. Another important element of financial wisdom is understanding the value of time. Time is our most precious resource, and it should be treated with the same respect as money. Many people waste years of their lives chasing financial goals that don't align with their true values. They spend their time accumulating wealth without considering what they truly want out of life. Stoicism reminds us that time is limited, and how we spend it matters. Financial decisions should be made with the long term in mind, not just for the sake of accumulating wealth, but for creating a life that is rich in meaning and purpose. Financial wisdom is also about finding balance. There's a delicate line between being frugal and being overly restrictive. While it's important to save and live within your means, it's equally important to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Stoicism teaches moderation in all things, and this applies to financial matters as well. Enjoying life's pleasures doesn't mean indulging in excess, but rather appreciating the simple joys that come from living a balanced life. Finding that balance is key to long-term happiness. Generosity is another important aspect of financial wisdom. While saving and planning for the future are crucial, it's equally important to give back. The Stoics believed that we are all connected, and that part of living a good life is contributing to the well-being of others. Generosity doesn't just benefit those on the receiving end, it also enriches the giver. Sharing your resources, whether through charity, helping family, or supporting your community, brings a deeper sense of fulfillment than any material possession ever could. One of the pitfalls many fall into is comparing their financial situation to others. The pressure to keep up with the lifestyle of friends, neighbors, or even celebrities can lead to poor financial decisions. Stoicism teaches that the only comparison that matters is with yourself, whether you are living in accordance with your values and making progress toward your goals. Financial wisdom involves ignoring the noise of external influences and focusing on what truly matters to you. Money in itself is not the problem. It's how we relate to it that determines whether it brings peace or stress. Stoicism encourages us to view money as a tool, something to be used wisely, but not something that defines our worth. When money becomes the end goal, we lose sight of what really matters in life. Financial wisdom is about using money to support a meaningful and purposeful life, not about accumulating wealth for the sake of it. A common financial mistake is failing to invest in personal growth. Education, learning new skills, and self-improvement are some of the best investments a person can make. The Stoics believed that knowledge and wisdom were the highest forms of wealth. By investing in yourself, you increase your ability to earn, to adapt to changing circumstances, and to make better decisions. Personal growth pays dividends that no stock market or real estate investment can match. One of the most difficult financial challenges is managing money in times of crisis. Whether it's a medical emergency, a sudden job loss, or an economic downturn, crises are inevitable. The Stoics taught the importance of being prepared for adversity, both mentally and materially. Financial wisdom involves building an emergency fund and being prepared for the unexpected. This foresight allows you to navigate crises with a sense of calm and control rather than panic and desperation. Stoicism also teaches the value of contentment. Many financial problems arise from the desire for more money, more possessions, more status. But the pursuit of more often leads to dissatisfaction. Contentment comes from appreciating what you have and living within your means. Financial wisdom isn't about amassing wealth. It's about finding peace with what you already have. By cultivating contentment, you free yourself from the endless pursuit of more and create space for true happiness. Financial wisdom is not just about making good decisions today. It's about building a legacy for the future. What kind of impact do you want to leave behind? Whether it's for your family, your community, or the world, financial planning is an essential part of creating a legacy. The Stoics believed that our lives are not just about ourselves, but about the influence we have on others. By managing your finances wisely, you ensure that your legacy is one of stability, generosity, and foresight. One of the keys to financial wisdom is understanding that mistakes are part of the journey. No one manages their finances perfectly, and everyone makes missteps along the way. The Stoics taught that failure is not something to be feared, but something to learn from. Financial mistakes, while painful in the moment, offer valuable lessons that can lead to better decisions in the future. The important thing is to recognize those mistakes, adjust your course, and move forward with greater wisdom. Many people struggle with the emotional side of money. Money is often tied to feelings of security, power, and self-worth, and when finances are unstable, it can lead to anxiety and stress. Stoicism teaches that our peace of mind should not be tied to external factors like money. True peace comes from within. By cultivating inner resilience and emotional balance, we can maintain our sense of calm even in the face of financial challenges. One of the most powerful financial tools is discipline. Whether it's saving, investing, or budgeting, discipline is the foundation of financial success. The Stoics valued discipline as one of the highest virtues, believing that self-control leads to freedom. Financial discipline may require sacrifices in the short term, but it leads to long-term stability and freedom. It's through disciplined actions that we build the financial future we desire. It's also important to seek wisdom from others when managing your finances. The Stoics believed in the value of learning from those who have gone before us. Financial mistakes can often be avoided by seeking advice from experts, mentors, or those with more experience. Whether it's working with a financial advisor or simply learning from the mistakes of others, there is great value in seeking outside wisdom to guide your financial decisions. Financial wisdom is not a one-time achievement, it's a lifelong practice. Just as the Stoics practiced daily reflection and mindfulness, financial wisdom requires ongoing attention. It's about regularly reviewing your finances, adjusting your strategies, and staying committed to your goals. This continuous practice ensures that you remain on a path of stability and peace. Another key aspect of financial wisdom is flexibility. Life is full of changes, whether it's a new job, a move, or a change in family circumstances. Stoicism teaches us to be adaptable in the face of change. This applies to financial matters as well. Financial wisdom involves being open to adjusting your plans and strategies as circumstances evolve. By staying flexible, you can navigate changes without being overwhelmed by them. One of the most liberating aspects of financial wisdom is the sense of control it brings. When your finances are in order, you feel empowered to make choices that align with your values and goals. You are no longer bound by debt, fear, or uncertainty. Instead, you have the freedom to live life on your own terms. Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes from mastering yourself and your circumstances, and financial wisdom is a key part of that mastery. In the end, financial wisdom is about more than just money. It's about living a life of intention, foresight, and balance. By making wise financial decisions, you not only create stability for yourself, but also for those you care about. Stoicism reminds us that our lives are interconnected and the choices we make ripple out into the world. By practicing financial wisdom, we contribute to a life of peace, purpose, and prosperity, both for ourselves and for future generations. As we conclude the discussion on financial wisdom and its profound impact on life, we now turn to a deeply personal and emotional aspect of aging: emotional independence. While financial stability provides external security, emotional independence offers internal strength. Relying too heavily on others for emotional well-being can lead to disappointment and vulnerability, especially in later years. Stoicism, with its emphasis on inner resilience, teaches us that true peace comes from within. This journey is not about cutting ties with those we love, but about building a solid foundation of emotional self-sufficiency, allowing us to face life's challenges with grace and confidence, no matter our age. In life, we naturally form emotional bonds with others. These connections are essential for growth, love, and companionship. However, there is a fine line between healthy relationships and emotional dependence. As we age, it becomes increasingly important to maintain emotional independence. When we rely too much on others for our happiness or sense of self, we put our emotional well-being in their hands. Stoicism teaches that the only emotions we can truly control are our own, and by cultivating emotional independence, we safeguard our peace of mind, no matter what others do or say. Emotional dependence often stems from the belief that others are responsible for our happiness. We might expect loved ones to provide constant reassurance, validation, or support. While these things can enrich our lives, they should not be the foundation of our emotional state. Stoicism reminds us that external sources of happiness are fleeting and beyond our control. Real contentment comes from within, from the ability to cultivate peace regardless of external circumstances. This inner strength becomes even more vital as we age, as relationships change, and we face new challenges. One of the most important lessons from Stoicism is the practice of self-reflection. By regularly examining our thoughts and emotions, we can identify areas where we may be relying too heavily on others for validation or emotional support. This awareness is the first step toward emotional independence. When we recognize these patterns, we can begin to shift our focus inward, learning to meet our own emotional needs rather than depending on others to do so. This practice of self-reflection builds resilience, allowing us to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease. As we grow older, we may find that our social circles shrink. Friends move away, family members pass on, and we may no longer have the same level of daily interaction that we once did. This is where emotional independence becomes crucial. Relying on a dwindling network of people for our emotional well-being can lead to feelings of loneliness and abandonment. But by cultivating inner strength, we can find peace and fulfillment, even in solitude. Stoicism teaches that while companionship is valuable, it is not the sole source of happiness. True happiness comes from living in alignment with our values and maintaining inner harmony. Emotional independence doesn't mean cutting ourselves off from others. Instead, it's about fostering healthy relationships where we support one another without becoming emotionally dependent. Stoicism encourages mutual respect and understanding in relationships where each person is responsible for their own emotions. By maintaining this balance, we can enjoy deep connections without placing the burden of our emotional well-being on others. This allows for more genuine and fulfilling relationships, where love and support flow freely without the pressure of dependency. A common struggle in later years is the fear of being alone. This fear can lead to emotional dependence, where we seek constant companionship to fill the void. However, Stoicism teaches that solitude is not something to be feared, but embraced. In solitude, we have the opportunity to connect with ourselves, to reflect on our thoughts, and to find peace in our own company. Emotional independence allows us to enjoy solitude without feeling isolated. It's about finding strength and comfort within ourselves, knowing that we are complete on our own. Emotional independence also involves letting go of the need for external validation. Many people, especially in later years, find themselves seeking approval or recognition from others to feel valued. But Stoicism teaches that true worth comes from within, from living a life of virtue and purpose. When we rely on others to tell us we are enough, we give away our power. By cultivating self-worth and confidence, we free ourselves from the need for constant validation and create a deeper sense of inner peace. As we age, we may also encounter situations where loved ones are no longer able to provide the same level of emotional support. Children grow up, friends move on, and relationships change. Relying too heavily on others for emotional stability can leave us feeling abandoned or lost when these shifts occur. Stoicism reminds us that change is inevitable and we must be prepared to adapt. Emotional independence ensures that we can face these changes with grace, knowing that our peace and happiness do not depend on the presence or actions of others. Another aspect of emotional independence is learning to manage our expectations of others. Often, we place unrealistic expectations on those we love, expecting them to meet all of our emotional needs. When they inevitably fall short, we feel hurt or disappointed. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control others or their actions, and expecting them to fulfill all our emotional needs is a recipe for disappointment. Instead, we should focus on cultivating our own emotional resilience, allowing us to interact with others from a place of strength rather than neediness. Emotional independence also helps us navigate conflict more effectively. When we are emotionally dependent, disagreements or misunderstandings can feel like personal attacks, shaking our sense of security. But when we are emotionally self-sufficient, we can approach conflict with a calm and clear mind, knowing that our worth is not tied to the outcome of the situation. Stoicism teaches us to approach conflict with reason and understanding, rather than reacting out of fear or emotional need. This calm approach not only resolves conflicts more effectively, but also strengthens our relationships. Another important aspect of emotional independence is the ability to let go of control. Many people struggle with the need to control the actions and emotions of those around them, believing that this will bring emotional security. But Stoicism teaches that we cannot control others. We can only control ourselves. Letting go of this need for control allows us to release the emotional tension that comes with trying to manage the feelings and actions of others. Instead, we can focus on maintaining our own emotional balance and responding to life's challenges with equanimity. Emotional independence also requires the cultivation of self-compassion. As we age, we may face regrets, disappointments, and the realization that life hasn't always gone as planned. Without self-compassion, these emotions can lead to self-blame and emotional dependence on others for reassurance. Stoicism teaches us to accept the past without judgment, to learn from our experiences, and to treat ourselves with kindness. By practicing self-compassion, we build the emotional resilience needed to face life's challenges without relying on others for constant support. As we develop emotional independence, we also strengthen our ability to cope with loss. Loss is an inevitable part of life, especially as we grow older, and it can be one of the most difficult emotional challenges to face. Stoicism teaches that loss, like all other aspects of life, is beyond our control. By cultivating emotional resilience, we can grieve without being consumed by the pain. Emotional independence allows us to process loss in a healthy way, finding comfort in our inner strength rather than relying solely on external sources of support. Another important benefit of emotional independence is the ability to set healthy boundaries. When we are emotionally dependent, we may allow others to overstep our boundaries in an effort to maintain their approval or support. But Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from maintaining integrity and self-respect. By setting and enforcing healthy boundaries, we protect our emotional well-being and ensure that our relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding. Emotional independence also plays a crucial role in decision-making. When we rely too heavily on others for emotional guidance, we may make decisions based on their opinions or approval rather than our own values and needs. Stoicism encourages us to trust our own judgment and to make decisions that align with our principles. This self-trust fosters confidence and autonomy, allowing us to navigate life's choices with clarity and purpose. As we cultivate emotional independence, we also become more resilient in the face of criticism or rejection. When our sense of self is tied to the opinions of others, negative feedback can feel devastating. But when we are emotionally self-sufficient, we can view criticism with a balanced perspective, learning from it without allowing it to shake our sense of worth. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control how others perceive us, but we can control how we respond. Emotional independence allows us to respond to criticism with calmness and confidence. Another key aspect of emotional independence is the ability to find joy and fulfillment from within. Many people look to external sources, whether it's relationships, achievements, or possessions, for happiness. But Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from living in alignment with our values and cultivating inner peace. By focusing on our own growth and well-being, we create a lasting sense of fulfillment that isn't dependent on external circumstances. Emotional independence also helps us navigate the aging process with grace. As we grow older, we may face physical or emotional challenges that test our resilience. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control the aging process, we can control how we respond to it. Emotional independence allows us to face these challenges with acceptance and inner strength, knowing that our worth and happiness are not tied to our external circumstances. In addition to fostering resilience, emotional independence also encourages a sense of freedom. When we are emotionally dependent on others, we may feel constrained by their expectations or needs. But by cultivating emotional self-sufficiency, we free ourselves from these constraints. Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes from within, from the ability to maintain our peace of mind regardless of external influences. Emotional independence allows us to live authentically, without being weighed down by the emotional expectations of others. Another important element of emotional independence is the ability to forgive. When we rely too heavily on others for our emotional well-being, we may hold on to resentment or anger when they disappoint us. But Stoicism teaches that forgiveness is essential for maintaining inner peace. Emotional independence allows us to forgive others without expecting them to change, releasing the emotional burden of resentment and freeing ourselves from the pain of the past. Emotional independence also fosters a sense of gratitude. When we rely on ourselves for emotional fulfillment, we become more appreciative of the support and love we receive from others. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the positive aspects of our relationships, rather than dwelling on what we may feel is lacking. This gratitude strengthens our emotional resilience and allows us to approach life with a sense of abundance rather than need. As we cultivate emotional independence, we also develop greater emotional intelligence. This means becoming more aware of our own emotions and understanding how they influence our thoughts and behaviors. Stoicism teaches that self-awareness is key to emotional mastery. By developing emotional intelligence, we become better equipped to navigate the complexities of our inner world and respond to life's challenges with wisdom and clarity. Another benefit of emotional independence is the ability to embrace change. Life is full of transitions, especially in later years, and emotional dependence can make these changes feel overwhelming. Stoicism teaches that change is a natural part of life, and by cultivating emotional independence, we can face these transitions with confidence. Emotional resilience allows us to adapt to new circumstances without feeling emotionally destabilized. Emotional independence also fosters a sense of purpose. When we rely too heavily on others for emotional fulfillment, we may lose sight of our own values and goals. But Stoicism teaches that a meaningful life is one that is lived in alignment with our principles. By cultivating emotional independence, we reconnect with our sense of purpose and create a life that is driven by our own values, rather than the expectations of others. Ultimately, emotional independence allows us to live a life of greater peace, purpose, and fulfillment. It frees us from the emotional entanglements that can lead to disappointment and suffering, and it empowers us to take control of our own emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from within, and by cultivating emotional independence, we create a foundation of inner resilience that carries us through life's challenges with grace and wisdom. As we draw on the importance of emotional independence, there is another powerful force we must face: change. Change is inevitable, yet many find themselves fearing it, especially in later years. This fear creates barriers that prevent growth and lead to stagnation. The more we resist, the more we become trapped in a cycle of sameness. Stoicism, however, offers wisdom to not just accept change, but to embrace it as a natural and essential part of life. By overcoming the fear of change, we can open ourselves to new experiences, opportunities, and a renewed sense of purpose, no matter our age. Change often brings discomfort, which is why many choose to avoid it. The familiar feels safe, while the unknown sparks anxiety. Yet, it is this very discomfort that leads to growth. Stoicism teaches that the only constant in life is change, and our ability to adapt to it defines our strength. When we resist change, we are fighting against the natural flow of life, which leads to frustration and unhappiness. Embracing change, on the other hand, allows us to remain flexible, resilient, and open to the new possibilities life has to offer. As we age, the desire for stability grows stronger. The routines and habits we have built over the years feel like a safe haven, offering comfort in their predictability. But clinging too tightly to these routines can create a sense of stagnation, preventing us from exploring new paths or perspectives. Stoicism teaches that life is a series of transitions, and each phase brings its own challenges and rewards. By accepting change, we free ourselves from the limitations of rigid thinking and allow ourselves to evolve in ways we never thought possible. One of the most powerful lessons of Stoicism is learning to differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot. Change is often beyond our control, and fearing it only leads to unnecessary suffering. The Stoics believed that true peace comes from accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what we can. By shifting our focus inward and working on how we respond to change, rather than trying to prevent it, we build resilience. This mindset empowers us to face life's transitions with strength and grace. Fearing change can create a sense of paralysis. When we become too afraid to move forward, we remain stuck in place, unable to take the necessary steps to live a fulfilling life. But Stoicism encourages action. The Stoics believed in the importance of taking responsibility for one's life and making deliberate choices, even in the face of uncertainty. Rather than waiting for change to overwhelm us, we must actively engage with it, using it as an opportunity to learn and grow. This proactive approach to change helps prevent the stagnation that comes from fear. Change can also trigger a fear of loss of identity, loss of relationships, or loss of what we once knew. But Stoicism teaches that attachment to the past is one of the greatest sources of suffering. When we hold on to what was, we close ourselves off to what could be. By accepting that change often involves letting go, we free ourselves to experience the new. Each phase of life brings its own unique experiences and opportunities, and resisting these changes only leads to frustration. Letting go of the past allows us to fully engage with the present. The fear of change can also lead to a fear of failure. Many people avoid taking risks or trying new things because they are afraid of the unknown. But Stoicism reminds us that failure is not something to be feared. It is a natural part of life. Every failure brings with it valuable lessons that help us grow and evolve. The Stoics believed that adversity and change were opportunities for personal development. By embracing change, we also embrace the possibility of failure, knowing that it will ultimately lead to growth. Change also challenges our sense of identity. Over time, we may become attached to the roles we play, whether as parents, professionals, or caregivers. As life changes and these roles evolve, we may feel lost, unsure of who we are without them. But Stoicism teaches that our identity is not tied to any external role or circumstance. Our true self is defined by our inner character and virtues, which remain constant regardless of life's external changes. By focusing on these internal qualities, we can maintain a strong sense of self, even as the world around us shifts. One of the key reasons people fear change is the loss of control. When things change, It feels like the ground beneath us is shifting and we struggle to regain our footing. But Stoicism teaches that true control lies not in trying to manage external circumstances, but in how we respond to them. By cultivating inner strength and resilience, we can face any change with confidence, knowing that our peace of mind is not dependent on external stability. This perspective allows us to navigate life's changes with a sense of calm and purpose. Change often brings new challenges, and it's natural to feel overwhelmed by them. However, Stoicism encourages us to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Each challenge we face is an opportunity to develop resilience, patience, and wisdom. When we fear change, we limit our ability to grow and improve. By embracing change, we open ourselves to the possibility of becoming stronger and more capable than we ever thought possible. The key is to approach each new challenge with a sense of curiosity and a willingness to learn. As we grow older, the physical changes we experience can be especially difficult to accept. The body no longer performs the way it once did, and this can lead to frustration and fear. But Stoicism teaches us to accept the natural course of aging with grace. Rather than resisting the physical changes that come with age, we can learn to appreciate the wisdom and insight that accompany this stage of life. Embracing the changes in our bodies allows us to focus on what we can still do, rather than mourning what we've lost. Embracing change also allows us to maintain a sense of adventure. Life is full of surprises, and when we approach change with an open mind, we allow ourselves to experience the excitement that comes with the unknown. Stoicism encourages us to be curious about life and to welcome new experiences as opportunities for growth. By letting go of fear, we can see change not as something to be dreaded, but as an adventure waiting to unfold. This mindset keeps us engaged with life, even as we age. One of the greatest benefits of embracing change is the ability to stay adaptable. The world around us is constantly shifting, and those who are able to adapt are the ones who thrive. Stoicism teaches us to be flexible in our thinking and to let go of rigid beliefs or expectations. When we remain open to change, we allow ourselves to evolve with the world around us rather than being left behind. Adaptability is a key factor in living a dynamic and fulfilling life, especially in later years. Fearing change can also lead to missed opportunities. When we resist change, we close ourselves off to new possibilities and experiences that could enrich our lives. Stoicism teaches that life is full of opportunities for growth and learning, but we must be willing to embrace them. By overcoming the fear of change, we open ourselves to new relationships, experiences, and challenges that can bring greater meaning and fulfillment to our lives. Change often brings with it a sense of loss, whether it's the loss of a loved one, a job, or a phase of life. While these losses can be painful, Stoicism teaches that all things in life are temporary. By accepting the impermanence of life, we free ourselves from the fear of loss. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can learn from each change, rather than mourning what has passed. This mindset allows us to navigate life's transitions with greater ease and resilience. Another reason people fear change is the uncertainty it brings. The unknown can be intimidating, and many people prefer the safety of the familiar, even if it no longer serves them. But Stoicism teaches that uncertainty is a natural part of life, and the key to finding peace is to accept it rather than resist it. By embracing uncertainty, we free ourselves from the anxiety that comes with trying to predict or control the future. Instead, we learn to trust in our ability to adapt and thrive, no matter what changes may come. Embracing change also helps us to let go of perfectionism. Many people resist change because they are afraid of making mistakes or failing to meet their own high standards. But Stoicism teaches that perfection is an illusion. Life is messy and unpredictable, and the pursuit of perfection only leads to frustration. By accepting change and the imperfections that come with it, we free ourselves from the pressure to always have everything figured out. This allows us to enjoy life more fully, without the constant fear of falling short. One of the most powerful ways to embrace change is through the practice of mindfulness. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the present moment rather than worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. By staying grounded in the present, we can approach change with a sense of calm and clarity. Mindfulness allows us to see each moment as an opportunity for growth, rather than something to be feared. This practice helps us stay open to the possibilities that change brings, without being overwhelmed by anxiety. Embracing change also requires the ability to let go of control. Many people fear change because it feels like they are losing control over their lives. But Stoicism teaches that control is an illusion. While we can influence our own actions, we cannot control the outcomes of those actions or the events that unfold around us. By letting go of the need to control everything, we free ourselves from the stress and anxiety that come with trying to manage the uncontrollable. This acceptance of life's unpredictability allows us to navigate change with greater ease. Change can also challenge our sense of security. As we age, the desire for stability becomes stronger, and any disruption to our routines or circumstances can feel threatening. But Stoicism teaches that true security comes not from external circumstances, but from within. By cultivating inner strength and resilience, we can create a sense of security that is not dependent on external factors. This inner security allows us to face change with confidence, knowing that we have the strength to handle whatever comes our way. Another important aspect of embracing change is learning to trust the process. Life is full of twists and turns, and while we may not always understand the reasons behind certain changes, Stoicism teaches us to trust that each change serves a purpose. By surrendering to the flow of life, we allow ourselves to be guided by the lessons that each change brings. This trust in the process helps us stay grounded and open to the growth that change facilitates. Fearing change can also lead to a sense of regret. When we avoid change, we may later look back and realize that we missed out on valuable opportunities for growth and fulfillment. Stoicism encourages us to live fully in each moment, without letting fear hold us back. By embracing change, we ensure that we are living a life that is dynamic and full of possibility, rather than one defined by missed opportunities. This approach to life helps prevent the regret that comes from fearing change. Embracing change also allows us to develop a greater sense of compassion. When we experience change ourselves, we become more empathetic toward others who are going through similar transitions. Stoicism teaches that all human beings are interconnected, and by embracing change in our own lives, we become better equipped to support others through their own changes. This compassion strengthens our relationships and fosters a deeper sense of connection with the world around us. As we learn to embrace change, we also develop a deeper sense of gratitude. Each change, whether positive or challenging, brings with it new lessons and opportunities for growth. Stoicism teaches that gratitude is essential for living a fulfilling life. By approaching each change with a sense of appreciation for what it brings, we cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. This gratitude helps us navigate life's changes with a sense of peace and contentment. In the end, change is an inevitable part of life, and fearing it only holds us back from living fully. Stoicism teaches that by embracing change, we open ourselves to the richness and complexity of life. Each change, whether big or small, brings with it opportunities for growth, learning, and connection. By letting go of fear and accepting change as a natural and necessary part of life, we create a dynamic, fulfilling existence that continues to evolve with each passing day. As we explore the importance of embracing change and allowing life's shifts to guide us, it becomes clear that another key to fulfillment is letting go of the past. Often, the greatest obstacle to peace lies not in the present or future, but in the lingering shadows of past mistakes, regrets, or missed opportunities. The past can feel like a weight, pulling us back into moments that no longer exist, robbing us of the present. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this, the practice of living fully in the now. By releasing our attachment to what has already happened, we free ourselves to experience peace and purpose in the moment that matters most, the present. When we dwell on the past, we are trapped in a cycle of what-ifs and should-haves, reliving events that we no longer have the power to change. This constant reflection on the unchangeable drains our energy and attention from the present, preventing us from fully engaging with life as it unfolds. Stoicism teaches that the past is beyond our control, and the only thing we can influence is how we respond to the present moment. By accepting that the past is gone, we free ourselves to focus on the here and now, where true peace resides. One of the reasons people cling to the past is the desire for closure or resolution. We replay events in our minds, hoping that by thinking about them long enough, we'll come to some new understanding or fix what went wrong. But Stoicism reminds us that peace is not found in rehashing the past, but in accepting it as it is. What happened, happened, and no amount of mental effort can change it. The sooner we let go of the need to solve the past, the sooner we can find peace in the present. Living in the past often stems from regret. Regret over decisions we made, opportunities we missed, or actions we didn't take. But regret is a heavy burden to carry, one that holds us back from moving forward. Stoicism teaches that while it's important to learn from our mistakes, it's equally important not to be defined by them. Each moment offers a new opportunity to act with wisdom and intention. By focusing on what we can do now, rather than what we failed to do before, we reclaim our power and create a path to peace. The past can also create a sense of longing for what once was, whether it's relationships, achievements, or experiences that we feel are lost. This nostalgia can cloud our ability to appreciate the present, making us believe that our best days are behind us. But Stoicism encourages us to find joy in the present moment, no matter our circumstances. Life is constantly changing, and every phase offers something new to be experienced and appreciated. By letting go of the idea that the past was better, we open ourselves to the richness of the present. Another trap of living in the past is the tendency to hold on to grudges or unresolved conflicts. When we focus on the wrongs we've suffered or the people who have hurt us, we allow those events to continue affecting us long after they've passed. Stoicism teaches that forgiveness is not about excusing others, but about freeing ourselves from the emotional chains of resentment. By letting go of past hurts, we make space for peace and emotional clarity in the present. Living in the past also keeps us stuck in outdated identities. We may define ourselves by who we were in the past, our successes, our failures, or the roles we once played. But Stoicism teaches that who we are is not fixed. We are constantly evolving. By letting go of the need to cling to past versions of ourselves, we allow room for growth and transformation. The present moment offers the opportunity to redefine who we are and how we choose to live. One of the most powerful Stoic practices for letting go of the past is the focus on what is within our control. The past is outside of our control, and dwelling on it is a futile exercise that only brings frustration. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to direct our energy toward what we can influence, the present moment, and our response to it. By shifting our focus from what we cannot change to what we can, we empower ourselves to live with intention and purpose. The fear of repeating past mistakes can also keep us tethered to the past. We may overanalyze previous choices in an effort to avoid making the same errors, but this often leads to paralysis and indecision. Stoicism teaches that mistakes are part of the human experience and should not be feared. What matters is how we respond to those mistakes, not whether they happened. By trusting ourselves to learn and grow from the past, we can move forward with confidence rather than fear. Another reason people dwell on the past is the desire for validation or understanding. We may feel that others didn't see things from our perspective or didn't appreciate our efforts, and we become stuck in the need to prove ourselves. But Stoicism teaches that our worth is not determined by others' opinions or understanding. True validation comes from living in accordance with our own values and acting with integrity in the present. By letting go of the need for external validation, we free ourselves from the past and find peace in the present. The past can also create a sense of guilt or shame, especially when we've hurt others or failed to live up to our own standards. These emotions can be deeply painful, but Stoicism teaches that self-forgiveness is essential for moving forward. We cannot change the actions we've taken, but we can learn from them and choose to act differently now. By accepting our imperfections and committing to growth, we release ourselves from the prison of guilt and embrace the opportunity for redemption in the present. Living in the present also means letting go of perfectionism. The desire to rewrite the past often comes from a belief that we could have done things perfectly if only we had another chance. But Stoicism reminds us that perfection is an illusion. Life is messy, unpredictable, and filled with mistakes. What matters is not achieving perfection, but striving to live with wisdom and intention in each moment. By letting go of the need to perfect the past, we free ourselves to live more authentically in the present. Another important aspect of living in the present is the ability to find gratitude in the here and now. When we focus on the past, we often overlook the gifts of the present moment. Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from appreciating what we have, not longing for what we've lost. Each day brings new opportunities for joy, connection, and growth. By cultivating gratitude for the present, we shift our focus away from what's behind us and toward the richness of life as it unfolds. Living in the present also helps us develop a sense of acceptance. The past may not have turned out the way we wanted, but it is what it is. Stoicism teaches that acceptance is not about giving up, but about recognizing reality as it is and choosing to work within it. When we accept the past without trying to change it, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil of wishing things had been different. This acceptance brings peace and allows us to move forward with clarity and purpose. One of the greatest benefits of living in the present is the ability to fully experience life as it happens. When we are stuck in the past, we miss out on the beauty and possibility of the present moment. Stoicism encourages us to engage with life as it unfolds, to be fully present in our interactions, and to savor the experiences we have now. By letting go of the past, we open ourselves to the richness of the present and create a life filled with meaning and connection. Another powerful Stoic practice for living in the present is mindfulness. By focusing on the sensations, thoughts, and feelings of the current moment, we train our minds to stay anchored in the now. This practice helps us break free from the constant pull of the past and allows us to experience life with greater clarity and awareness. Mindfulness is a tool that helps us cultivate inner peace by keeping our attention where it belongs, on the present. The past can also create a sense of fear about the future. When we focus on past mistakes or failures, we may begin to anticipate similar outcomes in the future, leading to anxiety and hesitation. Stoicism teaches that the future is as uncontrollable as the past, and worrying about it only detracts from the present. By focusing on what we can do right now, we reduce our anxiety about the future and create a sense of calm and purpose in the present. Living in the present also fosters resilience. When we let go of the past, we become more adaptable to life's challenges. Stoicism teaches that life is unpredictable, and clinging to the past makes us rigid and unable to cope with change. By staying present, we remain open to new possibilities and solutions, allowing us to navigate life's difficulties with grace and flexibility. This resilience helps us face the future with confidence, knowing that we can handle whatever comes our way. Another key aspect of living in the present is the ability to forgive ourselves. The past may be filled with moments we wish we could undo, but Stoicism teaches that self-forgiveness is essential for inner peace. We cannot move forward if we are constantly punishing ourselves for past actions. By accepting our humanity and learning from our mistakes, we free ourselves from the burden of self-judgment and create the space for growth and healing in the present. Living in the present also allows us to cultivate deeper relationships. When we are focused on the past, we may bring old hurts or unresolved conflicts into our current interactions, preventing us from connecting fully with others. Stoicism teaches that relationships are built on presence and mutual respect. By letting go of past grievances, we create the opportunity for more authentic and meaningful connections. This openness fosters stronger, more fulfilling relationships that are rooted in the here and now. Another powerful benefit of living in the present is the ability to make better decisions. When we are stuck in the past, our judgment can be clouded by regret, nostalgia, or unresolved emotions. Stoicism teaches that clear thinking comes from focusing on the present moment and the information available to us now. By letting go of the past, we sharpen our ability to assess situations objectively and make decisions that align with our values and goals. Living in the present also helps us develop a sense of contentment. The past may be filled with things we wish we could change, but Stoicism teaches that true peace comes from accepting things as they are. Contentment is not about having everything we want, but about finding satisfaction in what we have right now. By letting go of the past, we free ourselves to appreciate the present and cultivate a sense of inner calm and fulfillment. Another important aspect of living in the present is the ability to focus on what really matters. When we are consumed by the past, we often lose sight of our true priorities. Stoicism encourages us to live with intention, to align our actions with our values, and to focus on what brings meaning and purpose to our lives. By letting go of the past, we create space to live more deliberately, making choices that reflect our deepest values and desires. Living in the present also allows us to embrace the unpredictability of life. The past may be filled with missed opportunities or unmet expectations, but Stoicism teaches that life is not a fixed script. Each moment offers new possibilities, and by staying present, we remain open to the opportunities that arise. This mindset allows us to approach life with curiosity and excitement, knowing that the future is not defined by the past, but by the choices we make in the present. Ultimately, living in the present is about freeing ourselves from the emotional weight of the past. Stoicism teaches that the past is beyond our control, and dwelling on it only prevents us from experiencing the fullness of life in the moment. By letting go of regrets, missed opportunities, and past hurts, we create the space for peace, growth, and fulfillment. The present moment is all we truly have, and by embracing it fully, we unlock the potential for a life of purpose and joy. Having explored the power of living in the present and freeing ourselves from the grip of the past, there remains another critical aspect of well-being: connection with others. As important as solitude and independence are, Stoicism also emphasizes the value of community. The bonds we create with those around us are essential for support, growth, and fulfillment, especially as we age. Isolation can become a dangerous trap, leading to loneliness and disconnection from the world. However, Stoicism teaches us that community and meaningful relationships are not just necessary, they are vital for living a balanced, purposeful life. In later years, it can be easy to slip into isolation. Friends may drift away, family members may become preoccupied with their own lives, and the routines that once connected us to others may start to fade. But withdrawing from others only deepens the feeling of separation. Stoicism encourages us to remain engaged with those around us, to actively seek out connections, and to nurture the relationships that bring meaning to our lives. It's not about how many people we know, but about the depth of the connections we foster. Stoicism teaches that we are all part of a greater whole, interconnected with the world and people around us. This philosophy reminds us that community is not just about being physically present with others, but about sharing experiences, wisdom, and mutual respect. By contributing to our communities, we affirm our role within them and strengthen the bonds that keep us connected. This sense of belonging is essential for emotional well-being, and when we nurture it, we combat the isolation that so often creeps in as we grow older. Isolation can make us feel as though we are invisible or forgotten, but it is within our power to reach out and reconnect. Stoicism teaches that action, rather than passivity, is the key to living fully. If we feel disconnected from others, it's up to us to take the first step toward rebuilding those relationships. Whether it's calling a friend, joining a group, or simply engaging in small acts of kindness toward those around us, these efforts create ripples of connection that can draw us out of isolation. Meaningful relationships require effort, and Stoicism reminds us that we must approach them with patience, understanding, and a willingness to give as much as we receive. These relationships are not just about seeking companionship. They are about building a foundation of mutual respect and support. By giving our time and attention to others, we contribute to a cycle of kindness and understanding that enriches not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us. In many ways, isolation is a form of self-protection. We withdraw from others because of past hurts, fears of rejection, or the belief that we no longer have anything valuable to offer. But Stoicism teaches us that vulnerability is not weakness. It is part of being human. Opening ourselves up to others, even when it feels uncomfortable, is essential for creating genuine connections. By letting down our guard and embracing the imperfections of human relationships, we create space for deeper, more meaningful bonds. Stoicism also reminds us that relationships are not about controlling others or seeking validation from them. It's about mutual respect and understanding. When we focus on creating authentic connections based on shared values and interests, we remove the pressure of needing others to fulfill all of our emotional needs. Instead, we approach relationships with the intention of learning, growing, and offering support, knowing that these connections enhance our lives in ways that go beyond mere companionship. The danger of isolation is that it not only cuts us off from others, but also from ourselves. When we isolate, we lose the opportunity for reflection and growth that comes from engaging with different perspectives. Stoicism teaches that community is a mirror. Through our interactions with others, we learn more about ourselves. It is through relationships that we are challenged, inspired, and reminded of our own potential. By isolating ourselves, we miss out on these valuable lessons and the chance to continue evolving. Isolation can lead to a sense of purposelessness. When we disconnect from others, we may start to feel as though our lives lack meaning or direction. But Stoicism teaches that purpose is often found in service to others. By contributing to our communities, supporting loved ones, or simply offering a listening ear, we reaffirm our role in the world. These acts of service not only strengthen our sense of purpose, but also create a network of connection that helps combat loneliness. The fear of rejection or judgment can often keep us from reaching out to others, but Stoicism teaches that we cannot control how others respond to us. What we can control is how we approach relationships, with kindness, authenticity, and the desire to connect. If we focus on what we can offer rather than what we might receive, we shift the focus from fear to action. In doing so, we open the door to new relationships and experiences that bring fulfillment and joy. Building a community doesn't have to mean finding a large group of people. Even a few close, meaningful relationships can provide the sense of connection we need to thrive. Stoicism teaches that quality is more important than quantity. Deep, authentic connections with a few individuals can bring more peace and satisfaction than surface-level relationships with many. By focusing on nurturing these core relationships, we create a strong foundation of support that can help us navigate the challenges of life. In our later years, it can be easy to feel as though we no longer have anything to contribute. But Stoicism teaches that wisdom grows with age, and our experiences offer valuable insights to those around us. By sharing our knowledge, offering guidance, and simply being present for others, we contribute to the well-being of our communities. This sense of contribution not only strengthens our relationships, but also helps us feel more connected and valued. Isolation can also lead to a sense of hopelessness or despair, especially as we face the challenges of aging. But Stoicism teaches that even in difficult times, there is always the potential for connection and growth. By reaching out to others, even when we feel alone or disconnected, we remind ourselves that we are not isolated from the world. Every interaction, no matter how small, has the power to create a sense of belonging and hope. Stoicism encourages us to practice empathy in our relationships, to put ourselves in others' shoes and understand their struggles and joys. This practice not only strengthens our connections with others, but also helps us feel more connected to the world around us. When we approach relationships with empathy, we create a sense of unity and shared experience that helps dissolve the barriers of isolation. Another powerful way to avoid isolation is through the practice of gratitude. Stoicism teaches that by focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we cultivate a sense of abundance and connection. By expressing gratitude for the people in our lives, no matter how few or many, we strengthen our bonds and remind ourselves of the richness of our relationships. Gratitude also helps us approach interactions with a sense of appreciation, which fosters deeper, more meaningful connections. In today's world, it's easy to become disconnected from others, even when we are surrounded by people. Technology, busy schedules, and the demands of life can create a sense of separation. Stoicism teaches that meaningful connection requires intentionality. It's not enough to be physically present with others. We must also be emotionally and mentally present. By making a conscious effort to engage with those around us, we create the opportunity for deeper connections and avoid the isolation that can come from superficial interactions. The act of listening is a powerful tool for building community and avoiding isolation. Stoicism teaches that listening, truly listening to others without judgment or distraction, is a form of respect and care. When we listen with empathy and understanding, we create a space for connection that goes beyond words. This practice helps us feel more connected to those around us and reminds us that we are part of something larger than ourselves. Another way to combat isolation is by staying curious and open to new experiences. Stoicism teaches that life is full of opportunities for learning and growth, and this applies to our relationships as well. By remaining open to meeting new people, trying new activities, and exploring new perspectives, we keep our minds and hearts engaged with the world around us. This openness prevents the stagnation that can come from isolation and helps us stay connected to others. Stoicism also encourages us to practice humility in our relationships. Sometimes, isolation stems from pride or the belief that we don't need others. But Stoicism reminds us that we are all interconnected and no one is truly self-sufficient. By approaching relationships with humility, we open ourselves to the support, guidance, and companionship that others offer. This humility strengthens our bonds with others and helps us avoid the loneliness that comes from trying to go through life alone. The act of giving is another powerful way to avoid isolation. Stoicism teaches that by focusing on what we can give rather than what we can receive, we create a sense of connection and purpose. Whether it's offering a helping hand, sharing our wisdom, or simply being there for someone in need, these acts of giving strengthen our relationships and remind us that we are part of a larger community. Isolation can often lead to a sense of fear or anxiety, especially as we face the uncertainties of aging. But Stoicism teaches that we are never truly alone. We are always connected to others through shared experiences, emotions, and struggles. By seeking out community and engaging with others, we remind ourselves that we are part of a greater whole. This sense of connection helps alleviate the fear that comes with isolation and provides a sense of comfort and security. Another important aspect of avoiding isolation is recognizing that community is not just about what others can do for us, it's also about what we can do for them. Stoicism teaches that we have a responsibility to contribute to the well-being of those around us. By offering our support, wisdom, and presence, we strengthen the bonds of community and create a sense of belonging for ourselves and others. Stoicism also teaches that we should approach relationships with compassion. Everyone experiences loneliness or isolation at some point, and by extending compassion to others, we create a sense of solidarity and support. This practice of compassion helps dissolve the barriers that separate us from others and fosters a deeper sense of connection and understanding. Another powerful tool for avoiding isolation is the practice of reflection. Stoicism teaches that by regularly reflecting on our relationships, we can identify areas where we may be withdrawing or disconnecting from others. This self-awareness allows us to take proactive steps to re-engage with those around us and strengthen our connections. Reflection also helps us appreciate the value of community and reminds us of the importance of staying connected. Isolation can also create a sense of stagnation, where life feels monotonous and disconnected from purpose, but Stoicism teaches that community and connection are essential for growth and fulfillment. By engaging with others, we create opportunities for new experiences, challenges, and growth. This sense of dynamic connection helps us avoid the stagnation that comes from isolation and keeps us engaged with life in meaningful ways. As we cultivate meaningful relationships and community, we also create a sense of accountability. Stoicism teaches that we are responsible not only for ourselves, but for the well-being of those around us. By remaining engaged with our communities, we hold ourselves accountable for contributing to the greater good. This sense of responsibility strengthens our bonds with others and helps us avoid the isolation that comes from focusing solely on ourselves. Another important aspect of avoiding isolation is recognizing that community is not static. It evolves over time. Relationships change, people come and go, and communities shift. Stoicism teaches that we must remain adaptable and open to these changes, rather than withdrawing when things feel unfamiliar or uncertain. By staying engaged with the changing dynamics of our communities, we remain connected and avoid the sense of isolation that can come from resisting change. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches that we are never truly alone. Even in moments of solitude, we are connected to others through our shared humanity and experiences. By embracing this truth and actively seeking out meaningful relationships and community, we create a life filled with connection, purpose, and fulfillment. As we've seen, the importance of meaningful relationships and community cannot be overstated. However, there is another, often more subtle force that can disconnect us from true fulfillment: our attachment to material possessions. In a world that constantly encourages accumulation, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that happiness comes from acquiring more things. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that true contentment does not lie in material wealth, but in the simplicity and peace that come from letting go of the need for more. The more we cling to possessions, the more we set ourselves up for dissatisfaction and restlessness. Stoic wisdom reminds us that by releasing our attachment to material things, we open the door to deeper fulfillment and inner peace. Material possessions can offer a sense of temporary pleasure, but the joy they bring is fleeting. New purchases may provide an initial thrill, but this feeling quickly fades, leaving us searching for the next thing to satisfy our desires. Stoicism teaches that this cycle of wanting and acquiring leads only to a constant state of dissatisfaction. The pursuit of material goods never ends because external things can never truly satisfy internal needs. The more we try to fill emotional voids with material things, the more we realize that they can't provide the lasting fulfillment we seek. Our culture often equates success with the accumulation of wealth and possessions. From the time we are young, we are taught that having more money, a bigger house, a nicer car, will lead to greater happiness. But Stoicism encourages us to question this assumption. Are we really happier when we own more, or does the pursuit of material wealth create more stress and anxiety? By shifting our focus from what we can acquire to how we can live with purpose and integrity, we free ourselves from the pressure to measure our worth by what we own. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is that external things are beyond our control. Material possessions are fragile and impermanent. They can be lost, stolen, or destroyed in an instant. By placing our happiness in things that are outside of our control, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Stoicism reminds us that true peace comes from within, from cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and kindness, things that no one can take away from us. When we let go of our attachment to material things, we create space for a deeper sense of fulfillment that is not dependent on external circumstances. Material possessions also come with a hidden cost. The more we own, the more we must maintain, protect, and worry about those things. This creates a mental burden that distracts us from what truly matters in life. Stoicism teaches that simplicity is the key to peace. By decluttering our lives, both physically and mentally, we reduce the distractions that keep us from focusing on our inner well-being. Letting go of material excess allows us to live more freely, without the constant worry of maintaining or losing what we own. When we cling to material things, we often tie our identity to those possessions. We begin to see ourselves as successful because of what we own, and we may fear losing that status if we lose those things. Stoicism challenges this notion by teaching that our true worth comes from our character, not from what we possess. A person's value is not measured by their wealth, but by their integrity, wisdom, and kindness. By letting go of the need to define ourselves by our material wealth, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of who we truly are. Clinging to material possessions can also create a sense of competition with others. We may find ourselves comparing our wealth, our homes, or our belongings to those of our peers, always striving to keep up or surpass them. But Stoicism teaches that comparison is a source of unnecessary suffering. When we compare ourselves to others based on material wealth, we lose sight of what really matters: our personal growth, our relationships, and our sense of purpose. By letting go of this need to compete, we free ourselves from the anxiety and dissatisfaction that come from constantly measuring our worth against others. Letting go of material attachments doesn't mean we should reject all possessions or live in poverty. Rather, Stoicism teaches moderation. It's about recognizing the difference between what we truly need and what we think we need. There is nothing wrong with enjoying material comforts, but when those comforts become the focus of our lives, we lose sight of what's truly important. By practicing contentment with what we have, we cultivate a sense of gratitude and peace, knowing that true happiness comes from within, not from external things. When we focus too much on acquiring material possessions, we often neglect the other areas of our lives that bring true fulfillment: our relationships, our health, and our personal growth. Stoicism teaches that these are the things that truly matter, the things that provide lasting joy and meaning. By shifting our focus away from material wealth and toward these deeper aspects of life, we find a sense of purpose that material things can never provide. The more we cling to material possessions, the more we become enslaved by them. We may find ourselves working long hours or sacrificing our well-being in order to maintain a certain lifestyle. But Stoicism teaches that freedom comes from letting go of these attachments. When we free ourselves from the need for more, we gain the freedom to live more authentically, to focus on what truly matters, and to experience life with a greater sense of peace and clarity. Material possessions are often linked to our desires. The more we desire, the more we believe that acquiring those things will make us happy. But Stoicism teaches that desire is a form of attachment, and attachment leads to suffering. When we let go of the constant desire for more, we free ourselves from the cycle of craving and disappointment. By practicing contentment with what we have, we cultivate a sense of inner peace that is not dependent on external things. The pursuit of material wealth can also create a sense of emptiness. No matter how much we acquire, it never feels like enough. This is because material things can never satisfy the deeper needs of the soul, our need for connection, purpose, and meaning. Stoicism teaches that true fulfillment comes from living in alignment with our values, not from acquiring more possessions. By letting go of the need for more, we create space for the things that truly nourish our souls. Another important aspect of Stoicism is the recognition that material possessions are temporary. Everything we own is subject to decay, loss, or change. Clinging to these things creates a false sense of security. Stoicism teaches that true security comes from within, from cultivating virtues like wisdom, resilience, and compassion. When we let go of the need to hold on to material things, we free ourselves from the fear of loss and find a deeper sense of peace in the knowledge that we can weather any storm. When we focus on material possessions, we often neglect the development of our inner selves. We may spend so much time acquiring and maintaining things that we forget to nurture our minds and spirits. Stoicism teaches that personal growth and self-improvement are the true paths to happiness. By focusing on developing our inner virtues rather than accumulating external things, we create a sense of fulfillment that is lasting and meaningful. Clinging to material things can also prevent us from experiencing true generosity. When we are focused on accumulating wealth, we may become reluctant to share what we have with others. But Stoicism teaches that generosity is a key component of a fulfilling life. By letting go of the need to hoard material possessions, we open ourselves to the joy of giving and the satisfaction that comes from helping others. True wealth is not measured by what we keep, but by what we are willing to share. Material possessions can also create a sense of entitlement. We may begin to believe that we deserve certain things simply because of our wealth or status. But Stoicism teaches humility and the recognition that we are all equal in the eyes of the universe. By letting go of the belief that material things define our worth, we cultivate a sense of gratitude and appreciation for the simple things in life. This shift in perspective helps us find peace and contentment in the present moment. When we let go of our attachment to material things, we also let go of the fear of losing them. This fear can create a sense of anxiety and insecurity as we constantly worry about protecting our possessions or maintaining our lifestyle. Stoicism teaches that true security comes from within, from knowing that we can handle whatever life brings our way. By releasing our attachment to material wealth, we free ourselves from the anxiety that comes with the fear of loss. Letting go of material attachments also allows us to focus on experiences rather than possessions. Stoicism teaches that life is about the moments we create and the connections we build, not the things we own. By shifting our focus from acquiring things to creating meaningful experiences, we cultivate a sense of joy and fulfillment that material possessions can never provide. These experiences enrich our lives and create lasting memories that bring true happiness. Material possessions often create a sense of dependence. We may begin to rely on our wealth or belongings for our sense of security and self-worth. But Stoicism teaches that true independence comes from within, from knowing that we are enough just as we are. When we let go of the need for material things, we cultivate a sense of inner strength and resilience that allows us to navigate life's challenges with confidence and grace. The more we focus on material possessions, the more we become disconnected from the present moment. We may spend our time planning for the future or regretting past purchases, always seeking the next thing to acquire. But Stoicism teaches that true happiness is found in the present moment, in the simple act of being fully present with ourselves and others. By letting go of the need to acquire more, we free ourselves to experience life as it unfolds, with all its beauty and richness. Material possessions can also create a sense of isolation. We may begin to view others as competitors for wealth or status, rather than as fellow human beings. Stoicism teaches that we are all interconnected, and that true happiness comes from our relationships with others, not from our possessions. By letting go of the need to compete or compare, we open ourselves to deeper connections with those around us, creating a sense of community and belonging that material things can never provide. Letting go of material attachments also allows us to cultivate a sense of gratitude for what we already have. Stoicism teaches that contentment comes not from acquiring more, but from appreciating the simple things in life, our health, our relationships, and the beauty of the world around us. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we create a sense of abundance that brings true peace and fulfillment. When we let go of the need for material things, we also let go of the need for external validation. We no longer rely on our possessions to prove our worth or status to others. Stoicism teaches that true self-worth comes from within, from living in alignment with our values and acting with integrity. By letting go of the need for validation through material wealth, we free ourselves to live more authentically and find peace in being true to ourselves. Letting go of material attachments also allows us to focus on the things that truly matter in life. Stoicism teaches that the pursuit of wisdom, virtue, and personal growth are the keys to a fulfilling life. When we shift our focus from acquiring material wealth to cultivating inner virtues, we create a sense of purpose and meaning that material possessions can never provide. This sense of purpose brings a deeper sense of fulfillment and peace. Material possessions can also create a sense of clutter, both physical and mental. The more we own, the more we must manage, and this can create a sense of overwhelm. Stoicism teaches that simplicity is the key to peace. By decluttering our lives, we create space for clarity and focus. Letting go of material excess allows us to live more intentionally, with a sense of purpose and direction that brings true fulfillment. The pursuit of material wealth can also create a sense of attachment to the past or future. We may find ourselves constantly planning for future acquisitions or regretting past purchases. But Stoicism teaches that true happiness is found in the present moment, in the simple act of being fully present with ourselves and others. By letting go of the need to acquire more, we free ourselves to experience life as it unfolds, with all its beauty and richness. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches that material possessions are transient, but the virtues we cultivate within ourselves are lasting. By letting go of the need for external things, we create space for inner growth and fulfillment. True happiness comes not from what we own, but from who we are. When we shift our focus from material wealth to the cultivation of wisdom, courage, and kindness, we create a life of meaning and purpose, free from the dissatisfaction that comes from clinging to things that can never truly satisfy us. As we let go of the attachment to material things, a deeper question arises: what will we leave behind? Material possessions fade, but the legacy we create can have a lasting impact far beyond our own lives. Stoicism teaches that living with purpose is the true path to leaving something meaningful behind. It's not about building monuments to ourselves or accumulating wealth for the sake of it, but about living in a way that touches others, shaping the world around us in a positive and thoughtful manner. The mistake of failing to plan for your legacy can leave a void, both in your life and in the lives of those who follow. Legacy is not just about the tangible things we leave behind, but the values, wisdom, and impact we pass on to future generations. Stoicism encourages us to live with intention, to think carefully about how our actions, decisions, and ways of being influence those around us. When we fail to consider our legacy, we may drift through life, focused only on the present, without thinking about the longer-term effects of our choices. But when we live with purpose, every action takes on deeper meaning, and we contribute to something that endures. One of the most important aspects of legacy is the example we set for others. Stoicism teaches that our actions speak louder than words, and the way we live our lives can inspire others long after we're gone. Whether it's through kindness, integrity, or resilience, the qualities we embody can leave a lasting imprint on those who witness them. Failing to plan for our legacy means missing the opportunity to influence others positively, to show them how to live with purpose and meaning. A well-thought-out legacy is not about seeking glory or recognition. Stoicism reminds us that true greatness comes not from external accolades, but from inner virtue. By focusing on living in alignment with our values, we create a legacy that transcends personal ambition. It's about how we treat others, how we handle challenges, and how we contribute to the greater good. This kind of legacy leaves a deeper, more profound mark on the world than any material achievement ever could. Planning for your legacy requires reflection and foresight. It's about thinking beyond the moment and considering what kind of world you want to leave behind. Stoicism teaches us to reflect regularly on our actions and to ask ourselves whether we are living in a way that aligns with our values. By cultivating self-awareness and intentionality, we ensure that our legacy reflects the best of who we are and what we stand for. Failure to plan for a meaningful legacy can lead to a life of missed opportunities. When we don't take the time to think about the long-term impact of our actions, we may find ourselves simply going through the motions without ever fully engaging with the deeper purpose of our lives. Stoicism encourages us to seize each moment with intention, to live in a way that reflects our true values and aspirations. This approach not only enriches our own lives, but also creates a legacy of purpose and meaning. A legacy is not something that happens accidentally. It's something that we build day by day through our choices and actions. Stoicism teaches that we have the power to shape our destiny, not through grand gestures, but through the consistent practice of virtue. By focusing on the present moment and living with intention, we create a ripple effect that extends far beyond our own lives. This is how we ensure that our legacy is one of meaning, purpose, and impact. One of the most powerful ways to leave a meaningful legacy is by sharing our wisdom and experiences with others. Stoicism teaches that life's challenges are opportunities for growth, and the lessons we learn along the way can be invaluable to those who follow in our footsteps. By passing on our knowledge, whether through conversation, mentorship, or simply by example, we ensure that our legacy continues to influence others long after we are gone. A meaningful legacy is not defined by wealth or status, but by the relationships we build and the lives we touch. Stoicism reminds us that our true impact comes from how we treat others, how we support them, and how we show up in their lives. By cultivating meaningful connections and being present for those we care about, we create a legacy of love, support, and kindness. This is the kind of legacy that endures long after material possessions have faded. Another important aspect of legacy is the work we do and the contributions we make to the world around us. Stoicism teaches that we all have a role to play in the larger community, and by contributing our talents, skills, and efforts to something greater than ourselves, we create a lasting impact. Whether it's through our careers, our volunteer work, or our creative endeavors, the work we do can leave a legacy that continues to benefit others long after we are gone. A legacy is also about the values we instill in others. Stoicism teaches that our values are the foundation of our character, and by living in alignment with those values, we set an example for others to follow. Whether it's through honesty, courage, compassion, or perseverance, the values we embody can inspire others to live with purpose and integrity. This is the kind of legacy that transcends time, influencing future generations in profound ways. Planning for a meaningful legacy requires us to think about the kind of world we want to leave behind. Stoicism encourages us to consider how our actions today can contribute to a better future for those who come after us. Whether it's through environmental stewardship, social justice, or simply being a good neighbor, the choices we make now can have a lasting impact on the world. By living with this awareness, we create a legacy that reflects our commitment to making the world a better place. A well-lived life is one that is guided by purpose and intention. Stoicism teaches that our purpose is not something we find, but something we create through our actions and decisions. By living with purpose, we ensure that our legacy is one of meaning and significance. This doesn't mean we have to achieve great things in the eyes of the world. It simply means living in a way that reflects our values and contributes to the greater good. One of the biggest mistakes we can make is failing to think about our legacy until it's too late. Stoicism teaches that life is fleeting, and we never know how much time we have. By planning for our legacy now, we ensure that we are living with intention and making the most of the time we have. This mindset allows us to focus on what truly matters and to create a legacy that reflects the best of who we are. A meaningful legacy is not just about what we do, but about who we are. Stoicism teaches that our character is our most valuable asset, and by cultivating virtues like wisdom, kindness, and resilience, we create a legacy that others can look to for guidance and inspiration. By focusing on our inner growth, we ensure that our legacy is one of depth and substance, rather than superficial achievements. Planning for your legacy also means thinking about how you want to be remembered. Stoicism teaches that our actions today shape how others will view us in the future. By living with integrity and staying true to our values, we create a legacy that reflects our true selves. This requires us to be mindful of our actions and to ensure that they align with the kind of person we want to be remembered as. One of the most important aspects of legacy is the impact we have on future generations. Stoicism teaches that we are part of a larger continuum, and the choices we make today can influence the lives of those who come after us. By living with this awareness, we ensure that our legacy is one of stewardship and responsibility. Whether it's through the values we pass on to our children or the contributions we make to our communities, our legacy can continue to shape the world long after we are gone. A meaningful legacy is not about perfection, but about progress. Stoicism teaches that we are all works in progress, and our legacy is shaped by our efforts to grow and improve throughout our lives. By embracing our imperfections and striving to live with purpose, we create a legacy that reflects our resilience and commitment to growth. This is the kind of legacy that inspires others to continue their own journeys of self-improvement. Another important aspect of legacy is the way we handle adversity. Stoicism teaches that challenges are opportunities for growth, and the way we respond to life's difficulties can leave a lasting impression on others. By facing adversity with courage and grace, we create a legacy of resilience and strength. This kind of legacy teaches others that no matter what life throws our way, we have the power to rise above it. Legacy is also about the kindness we show to others. Stoicism teaches that compassion and empathy are essential qualities for living a meaningful life. By treating others with kindness, we create a legacy of love and connection. This kind of legacy has a ripple effect, as the kindness we show to one person can inspire them to pass it on to others. In this way, our legacy of kindness can continue to impact the world long after we are gone. Failing to plan for our legacy can lead to a life that feels directionless or empty. Stoicism teaches that living with purpose gives our lives meaning and fulfillment. By thinking about the kind of legacy we want to leave, we ensure that we are living with intention and making choices that reflect our values. This sense of purpose not only enriches our own lives, but also creates a lasting impact on the world around us. A meaningful legacy is one that reflects our commitment to the greater good. Stoicism teaches that we are all interconnected, and our actions have the power to influence the lives of others. By focusing on how we can contribute to the well-being of those around us, we create a legacy that extends beyond our individual lives. This is the kind of legacy that leaves the world a better place than we found it. Planning for your legacy also means thinking about how you can continue to make a positive impact even after you are gone. Whether it's through charitable donations, mentorship, or creating something that will benefit others, There are many ways to ensure that your legacy continues to have a positive influence. Stoicism teaches that true greatness comes not from what we achieve for ourselves, but from what we give to others. Another important aspect of legacy is the way we approach our relationships. Stoicism teaches that meaningful connections with others are essential for a fulfilling life. By investing time and energy in our relationships, we create a legacy of love, support, and connection. This kind of legacy is one that endures, as the bonds we create with others can continue to influence their lives long after we are gone. Ultimately, legacy is about living in a way that reflects our true values and aspirations. Stoicism teaches that we have the power to shape our destiny through our actions and decisions. By living with purpose and intention, we create a legacy that is meaningful, impactful, and enduring. This is the kind of legacy that leaves a lasting mark on the world, one that continues to inspire, uplift, and guide others long after we are gone. As we reflect on the importance of living with purpose and leaving behind a meaningful legacy, we must also acknowledge the role of adaptability in this journey. Life is filled with constant change, and the refusal to adapt can hold us back from evolving into our true potential. Stoicism teaches us that flexibility and openness to new experiences are essential for growth. Resistance to change, especially in later years, can prevent us from embracing new opportunities and lessons. But by learning to adapt, we cultivate resilience and wisdom, unlocking new paths to fulfillment and meaning. Stoicism emphasizes the concept of accepting what we cannot control, and change is one of those things. Whether it's technological advancements, shifts in society, or personal circumstances, change is inevitable. Resisting these changes leads to frustration and stagnation, while embracing them fosters growth. The Stoics teach that adaptability is not about passively accepting change, but actively engaging with it, learning from it, and growing stronger in the process. It is this mindset that allows us to thrive even in uncertain times. When we resist adaptation, we close ourselves off from the possibilities that new experiences bring. This resistance often stems from fear of the unknown, fear of failure, or fear of losing control. But Stoicism teaches that fear is a natural part of life, and it is through facing our fears that we find growth. By choosing to adapt rather than resist, we open ourselves to new opportunities for learning and personal development, which leads to a richer, more fulfilling life. Adapting to new circumstances requires a mindset of curiosity and openness. Stoicism encourages us to approach life with a sense of wonder and a willingness to learn. This means being open to new ideas, technologies, and ways of thinking, even if they challenge our current beliefs. When we remain rigid in our thinking, we limit our ability to grow. But by embracing a mindset of adaptability, we allow ourselves to evolve, gaining new insights and wisdom along the way. The refusal to adapt can lead to isolation, particularly in a world that is constantly evolving. As technology advances and society shifts, those who resist change may find themselves disconnected from the world around them. Stoicism teaches that we are social beings, and staying connected to others is essential for our well-being. By adapting to new ways of communication, new tools, and new social norms, we maintain our sense of connection and relevance, fostering deeper relationships and a stronger sense of community. Adapting to new circumstances doesn't mean abandoning our values or beliefs. Stoicism teaches that while we must be flexible in our approach to life, our core principles remain our guide. The ability to adapt lies in recognizing the difference between what is essential and what is changeable. By staying rooted in our values while embracing new methods or ideas, we strike a balance between tradition and innovation, allowing ourselves to grow without losing sight of what truly matters. The act of resisting adaptation often stems from a desire to cling to the past, to hold on to what feels familiar and comfortable. But Stoicism reminds us that the past is gone, and the only thing we can influence is the present. By clinging to outdated methods or refusing to engage with new technologies, we limit our ability to navigate the world as it is now. Adaptation is not about dismissing the past, but about recognizing when it is time to move forward, using the lessons of the past to inform our journey into the future. Flexibility is a form of strength. In Stoicism, resilience comes from our ability to bend with the winds of change rather than break under their force. By staying flexible and adaptable, we maintain our inner stability, no matter what external circumstances may arise. This strength allows us to remain calm and focused in the face of uncertainty, knowing that we have the ability to adjust and thrive, regardless of the challenges we encounter. Refusing to adapt can also limit our creativity. When we remain rigid in our thinking, we close ourselves off to new ideas and possibilities. But Stoicism teaches that creativity flourishes when we are willing to explore different perspectives and approaches. By staying adaptable, we foster a mindset of innovation, allowing ourselves to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and creative solutions. This adaptability leads to a more dynamic and fulfilling life. One of the greatest challenges to adaptation is the fear of failure. Many people resist change because they fear they will not succeed in a new environment or with new technology. But Stoicism teaches that failure is a natural part of life and an essential component of growth. By embracing the possibility of failure, we free ourselves to take risks and try new things. Each failure becomes a learning opportunity, guiding us toward greater wisdom and resilience. Adapting to change also requires humility. It means acknowledging that we don't have all the answers and that there is always more to learn. Stoicism teaches that true wisdom comes from recognizing our own limitations and being open to growth. By staying humble and curious, we remain open to the lessons that life has to offer, no matter where we are on our journey. This humility fosters a sense of continuous learning, which is essential for personal development. In a world that is constantly evolving, staying adaptable allows us to remain engaged and relevant. Whether it's learning new skills, embracing new technologies, or adapting to new social norms, the ability to evolve with the times keeps us connected to the world around us. Stoicism teaches that we are never too old to learn and grow, and by staying adaptable, we ensure that we continue to evolve, no matter our age or circumstances. Resisting adaptation can lead to a sense of frustration or helplessness as we struggle to keep up with a world that is moving forward without us. But Stoicism teaches that we have the power to choose how we respond to change. By embracing adaptation, we regain our sense of agency, knowing that we have the ability to navigate the changes that come our way. This mindset fosters a sense of empowerment, allowing us to approach life's challenges with confidence and resilience. The ability to adapt is also essential for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. When we resist change, we create unnecessary stress and anxiety as we attempt to hold on to things that are beyond our control. Stoicism teaches that peace of mind comes from accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what we can control. By adapting to new circumstances, we reduce our stress and create a sense of inner calm, knowing that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. Adapting to new situations also fosters a sense of resilience. Life is full of unexpected challenges, and the ability to adapt allows us to face these challenges with grace and strength. Stoicism teaches that true resilience comes not from avoiding difficulties, but from facing them head-on and learning from them. By staying adaptable, we build the mental and emotional strength needed to navigate life's ups and downs with poise and confidence. Another important aspect of adaptation is the ability to embrace new technologies. In today's world, technology plays a significant role in how we communicate, work, and interact with others. Stoicism teaches that while technology itself is neutral, it's how we use it that matters. By adapting to new technologies, we enhance our ability to connect with others, access information, and stay engaged with the world around us. This adaptability keeps us relevant and allows us to continue growing, even in a rapidly changing world. Resisting adaptation can also limit our ability to connect with younger generations. As technology and society evolve, the gap between generations can widen, leading to misunderstandings and disconnection. Stoicism teaches that connection and community are essential for well-being, and by adapting to new ways of thinking and communicating, we bridge that gap. This adaptability fosters deeper relationships with people of all ages, creating a sense of unity and mutual understanding. Adaptation is also key to staying mentally sharp. Stoicism teaches that the mind, like the body, must be exercised in order to stay strong. By embracing new challenges, learning new skills, and staying open to new ideas, we keep our minds active and engaged. This mental flexibility not only helps us navigate the changes in our environment, but also keeps us alert, curious, and capable of continuous growth. The refusal to adapt can create a sense of rigidity, both mentally and emotionally. When we resist change, we become stuck in our ways, unable to see new possibilities or solutions. Stoicism teaches that flexibility is essential for personal growth, and that by staying adaptable, we open ourselves to new perspectives and ways of thinking. This flexibility allows us to approach life with a sense of openness and curiosity, fostering personal development and greater wisdom. Adapting to change also fosters a sense of optimism. When we are willing to embrace new experiences and challenges, we cultivate a mindset of possibility. Stoicism teaches that by focusing on what we can learn and gain from each new situation, we create a sense of hope and excitement about the future. This optimism not only enhances our own well-being, but also inspires those around us to approach life's challenges with a sense of curiosity and enthusiasm. One of the greatest benefits of adaptation is the ability to stay connected to the present moment. When we resist change, we often find ourselves clinging to the past, unable to fully engage with the present. Stoicism teaches that true peace and fulfillment come from living in the present moment, accepting life as it is, and embracing the opportunities that are available to us now. By staying adaptable, we free ourselves from the burden of the past and open ourselves to the possibilities of the present. Adaptation is also essential for personal growth. Stoicism teaches that life is a journey of continuous learning, and the ability to adapt allows us to keep growing, no matter our age or circumstances. By staying open to new experiences and challenges, we continue to evolve, gaining new insights, skills, and perspectives along the way. This growth not only enriches our own lives, but also allows us to contribute more meaningfully to the lives of others. Resisting adaptation can lead to a sense of stagnation. When we refuse to embrace change, we limit our ability to grow and evolve. Stoicism teaches that life is a dynamic process, and by staying flexible and open to new possibilities, we keep moving forward. This adaptability allows us to continue growing, learning, and improving throughout our lives, creating a sense of purpose and fulfillment that extends far beyond our current circumstances. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the importance of focusing on what we can control. Change is often beyond our control, but how we respond to it is entirely within our power. By choosing to adapt, we take control of our own growth and development, ensuring that we continue to evolve with the world around us. This proactive approach to adaptation empowers us to navigate life's challenges with confidence and grace. Adapting to new circumstances also fosters a sense of gratitude. Stoicism teaches that gratitude is essential for well-being, and by embracing change, we create opportunities to appreciate the new experiences and lessons that life has to offer. This gratitude helps us stay positive and focused on the opportunities for growth, rather than dwelling on what we may have lost. It allows us to see each change as a gift, bringing new possibilities and insights into our lives. The ability to adapt is also essential for maintaining a sense of purpose. Stoicism teaches that our purpose is not fixed, but evolves over time as we learn, grow, and experience new things. By staying adaptable, we remain open to discovering new aspects of our purpose, allowing us to continue living with meaning and intention, even as circumstances change. This adaptability ensures that our sense of purpose remains dynamic and relevant throughout our lives. Adaptation is also a form of self-compassion. Stoicism teaches that we must be kind to ourselves, recognizing that life is full of challenges and uncertainties. By staying adaptable, we give ourselves the grace to evolve and grow, even when things don't go as planned. This self-compassion allows us to approach life with a sense of acceptance and peace, knowing that we have the ability to navigate whatever comes our way. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches that life is a constant process of change and evolution. By resisting adaptation, we limit our potential and close ourselves off from the opportunities for growth and learning that life has to offer. But by embracing change and staying adaptable, we cultivate resilience, wisdom, and a sense of purpose that allows us to thrive no matter what challenges we face. This is the path to true fulfillment and peace. As we've explored the power of adaptation, we've seen how inner strength is key to navigating life's constant changes. Now, let's turn to one of the most subtle yet dangerous traps we can fall into: relying on others for our happiness. Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from within, and placing that responsibility on others can lead to disappointment, frustration, and even resentment. Happiness that is dependent on external factors is fragile, while happiness grounded in self-reliance is enduring and stable. By understanding the danger of relying on others for our emotional well-being, we can cultivate a life of greater peace and contentment. When we rely on others to make us happy, we give away our power. Stoicism teaches that our happiness is our own responsibility, and the more we place that burden on others, the less control we have over our emotional state. Relationships, while valuable, are ever-changing, and people's actions and opinions are beyond our control. When we expect others to fulfill our emotional needs, we set ourselves up for disappointment, because no one can fully meet all of our expectations. The key to lasting happiness lies in developing a strong foundation of self-reliance. Depending on others for happiness creates unrealistic expectations. We may unconsciously expect our loved ones to behave a certain way or provide us with constant validation, and when they don't, we feel let down. Stoicism teaches that we should release ourselves from these expectations and instead focus on what we can control: our own thoughts, actions, and responses. By doing so, we free others from the impossible task of managing our happiness and allow ourselves to find peace from within. When we place our happiness in the hands of others, we often feel vulnerable and anxious, fearing that they might disappoint or hurt us. Stoicism teaches that peace comes from detaching ourselves from external outcomes. Instead of relying on others to provide us with a sense of worth or joy, we cultivate inner strength and contentment. This self-reliance not only protects us from emotional instability, but also allows us to approach our relationships with greater balance and clarity. The danger of relying on others for happiness is that it can lead to resentment. When we expect someone to make us happy and they fail to do so, we may feel angry or betrayed. Stoicism reminds us that others are not responsible for our emotional state. By taking ownership of our happiness, we free ourselves from the bitterness that can arise when people don't meet our expectations. This shift in perspective fosters healthier, more harmonious relationships. True happiness, according to Stoicism, is rooted in virtue and inner peace, not in the actions or opinions of others. When we seek happiness from external sources, we are constantly chasing something that is out of our reach. Stoicism teaches that by cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and kindness, we create a lasting sense of fulfillment that no one can take away from us. This inner happiness is far more resilient than the fleeting joy that comes from relying on others. Another danger of relying on others for happiness is that it can lead to emotional dependency. We may find ourselves needing constant validation or approval from those around us in order to feel good about ourselves. Stoicism teaches that self-worth comes from within, not from external validation. By developing a strong sense of self-reliance, we create a stable foundation for our emotional well-being, one that is not easily shaken by the opinions or actions of others. When we place the responsibility for our happiness on others, we risk losing our sense of independence. We may begin to define ourselves by our relationships or by how others perceive us, rather than by our own values and beliefs. Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes from within, and by cultivating self-reliance, we maintain our independence and integrity. This inner freedom allows us to navigate life's challenges with confidence and resilience. Relying on others for happiness can also create a sense of imbalance in our relationships. When we depend on someone else to fulfill our emotional needs, we may place undue pressure on that person, leading to strain and tension. Stoicism encourages us to approach relationships from a place of mutual respect and support, rather than dependency. By taking responsibility for our own happiness, we create healthier, more balanced relationships that are based on shared values and mutual understanding. Stoicism teaches that happiness is an internal state, one that is cultivated through self-awareness, mindfulness, and personal growth. When we rely on others to make us happy, we neglect our own inner work. Instead of looking outward for fulfillment, we are encouraged to look inward, to develop a sense of inner peace and contentment that is not dependent on external factors. This shift in focus allows us to experience a deeper, more lasting sense of happiness. When we rely on others for happiness, we may find ourselves constantly seeking approval or validation. This need for external validation can lead to a sense of insecurity, as we become dependent on others' opinions to feel good about ourselves. Stoicism teaches that true confidence comes from within, from living in alignment with our values and principles. By cultivating self-reliance, we free ourselves from the need for external approval and develop a sense of inner strength and security. Another danger of relying on others for happiness is that it can lead to a loss of personal autonomy. We may begin to make decisions based on what we think will make others happy, rather than what is right for us. Stoicism teaches that we must be true to ourselves, living in accordance with our own values and principles. By taking ownership of our happiness, we maintain our autonomy and make decisions that align with our true selves. When we depend on others for happiness, we may feel powerless in the face of life's challenges. Stoicism teaches that our power lies in our ability to control our thoughts, actions, and responses, not in the actions of others. By cultivating self-reliance, we regain our sense of agency, knowing that we have the ability to create our own happiness, regardless of external circumstances. This empowerment allows us to face life's challenges with resilience and confidence. Relying on others for happiness can also create a sense of emotional instability. When our happiness is tied to someone else's actions or approval, our emotional state becomes unpredictable and dependent on factors beyond our control. Stoicism teaches that true emotional stability comes from within, from cultivating a sense of inner peace and contentment that is not affected by external events. By developing self-reliance, we create a stable foundation for our emotional well-being. When we place the responsibility for our happiness on others, we may find ourselves feeling disappointed or hurt when they fail to meet our expectations. Stoicism teaches that disappointment arises from expecting others to behave in a certain way, rather than accepting them as they are. By releasing these expectations and taking responsibility for our own happiness, we free ourselves from the emotional roller coaster of disappointment and frustration. Stoicism also teaches that happiness is found in the present moment, not in the actions or opinions of others. When we rely on others for happiness, we often find ourselves focused on what they will do or say, rather than being fully present in the moment. By cultivating self-reliance, we allow ourselves to experience the joy and peace that comes from living in the present, free from the need for external validation. Relying on others for happiness can also lead to a sense of emptiness or dissatisfaction. No matter how much someone else tries to make us happy, they cannot fill the void that only self-awareness and personal growth can address. Stoicism teaches that true fulfillment comes from within, from living a life of purpose and integrity. By focusing on our own personal growth and self-reliance, we create a sense of inner fulfillment that no one else can provide. When we depend on others for happiness, we may neglect our own needs and desires, focusing instead on what we think will make others happy. Stoicism teaches that self-care is essential for emotional well-being. By taking responsibility for our own happiness, we ensure that we are meeting our own needs and living in alignment with our values. This self-care not only enhances our own well-being, but also allows us to show up more fully for those we care about. Relying on others for happiness can create a sense of dependency where we feel unable to find joy or fulfillment on our own. Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from within, from cultivating a sense of self-reliance and inner peace. By developing this inner strength, we free ourselves from the need for external sources of happiness and create a life that is grounded in personal autonomy and fulfillment. The danger of relying on others for happiness is that it can lead to a sense of loss when those relationships change or end. Stoicism teaches that all external things, including relationships, are temporary and beyond our control. By cultivating self-reliance, we create a sense of inner peace that is not dependent on the presence or actions of others. This inner peace allows us to navigate the changes in our relationships with grace and resilience. When we rely on others for happiness, we may find ourselves constantly seeking their approval or validation, which can lead to a sense of insecurity or self-doubt. Stoicism teaches that true confidence comes from within, from living in alignment with our values and principles. By developing self-reliance, we free ourselves from the need for external validation and cultivate a sense of inner strength and self-assurance. Relying on others for happiness can also create a sense of imbalance in our relationships, where we place the responsibility for our emotional well-being on someone else. Stoicism teaches that healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and support, not dependency. By taking responsibility for our own happiness, we create more balanced and fulfilling relationships where both parties are free to be themselves and support each other's growth. Another danger of relying on others for happiness is that it can lead to a loss of personal identity. When we depend on someone else to make us happy, we may begin to define ourselves by that relationship rather than by our own values and beliefs. Stoicism teaches that true identity comes from within, from living in alignment with our principles and staying true to ourselves. By cultivating self-reliance, we maintain our sense of identity and autonomy, even within the context of our relationships. When we rely on others for happiness, we may find ourselves feeling resentful when they fail to meet our expectations. Stoicism teaches that resentment arises from expecting others to behave in a certain way rather than accepting them as they are. By releasing these expectations and taking responsibility for our own happiness, we free ourselves from the emotional burden of resentment and create a more peaceful and harmonious life. Relying on others for happiness can also create a sense of emotional imbalance, where we place too much importance on external factors and neglect our own inner well-being. Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from within, from cultivating a sense of inner peace and contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. By developing self-reliance, we create a sense of emotional balance and stability that allows us to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and resilience. When we place the responsibility for our happiness on others, we may find ourselves feeling powerless in the face of life's challenges. Stoicism teaches that our power lies in our ability to control our thoughts, actions, and responses, not in the actions of others. By cultivating self-reliance, we regain our sense of agency, knowing that we have the ability to create our own happiness, regardless of external circumstances. This empowerment allows us to approach life's challenges with resilience and confidence. Relying on others for happiness can also lead to a sense of disconnection from our own values and desires. When we depend on someone else to make us happy, we may neglect our own needs and focus instead on what we think will make them happy. Stoicism teaches that self-awareness is essential for emotional well-being. By taking responsibility for our own happiness, we ensure that we are living in alignment with our values and desires, creating a life that is true to ourselves. The danger of relying on others for happiness is that it can lead to a sense of dissatisfaction or emptiness. No matter how much someone else tries to make us happy, they cannot fill the void that only self-awareness and personal growth can address. Stoicism teaches that true fulfillment comes from within, from living a life of purpose and integrity. By focusing on our own personal growth and self-reliance, we create a sense of inner fulfillment that no one else can provide. When we rely on others for happiness, we may find ourselves constantly seeking their approval or validation, which can lead to a sense of insecurity or self-doubt. Stoicism teaches that true confidence comes from within, from living in alignment with our values and principles. By developing self-reliance, we free ourselves from the need for external validation and cultivate a sense of inner strength and self-assurance. Relying on others for happiness can also create a sense of imbalance in our relationships, where we place the responsibility for our emotional well-being on someone else. Stoicism teaches that healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and support, not dependency. By taking responsibility for our own happiness, we create more balanced and fulfilling relationships, where both parties are free to be themselves and support each other's growth. Stoicism ultimately teaches us that true happiness is an internal state, not something that can be provided by others. When we rely on others for our happiness, we lose touch with the inner resources we possess. As you move through the later years of life, it's vital to recognize the mistakes that can quietly erode your happiness and peace of mind. From neglecting your health to holding on to grudges, relying on material things, and resisting change, These missteps can hold you back from experiencing the freedom and fulfillment you deserve. Stoicism offers timeless wisdom that teaches us to embrace life's challenges, to let go of what we cannot control, and to live with intention and purpose. By avoiding these deadly mistakes, you pave the way for a life of meaning, resilience, and deep contentment, no matter your age. Remember, life is not defined by external circumstances or the opinions of others, but by the strength and clarity within you. The legacy you leave behind will not be measured by what you accumulate, but by how you live, how you grow, and how you impact the lives around you. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What Stoic principle resonates most with you, and how do you plan to apply it in your own life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the wisdom that can transform your journey. Stay strong, stay grounded, and keep striving for that inner peace.